Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Cyberpunk, I Got a Man of Steel. Chapter 1. Good morning, Night Cities. A familiar voice came from the radio, and Yifei, who was sleeping soundly in the car, frowned and opened his eyes slightly and glanced at the radio impatiently. I can't sleep well. Then Yifei seemed to feel something was wrong, and sat up all of a sudden. Question mark. This is where Yifei remembered that he fell asleep comfortably after killing Adam's heavy hammer dozens of times. Why did he wake up in a car? Yifei opened the car door and saw a completely impossible scene, where the two were discussing. The electrical coupling module of your car is broken and needs to be replaced. The repairman fiddled with it for a while, then stood up and glanced at the woman with long silver hair who was standing beside him as a homeless person. Of course, the eyes are not honest. In fact, women are considered a rare species in this small town. After all, beautiful women live in Night City. Looking at the familiar homeless clothes on his body and the silver-haired woman who was arguing with the repairman in front of him. All this tells Yifei one thing. He crossed. Human life is still worthless. Ah no, it is the world of Cyberpunk 2077 where the life of the poor is worthless and the life of the rich is like a treasure. No way, Big Brother, even if I play a little more Cyberpunk games, I can still time travel. Yifei admits that although he likes to play this game, and after watching the latest anime Edge Runner, he logged into the game overnight and killed Adam Heavy Hammer more than a dozen times. But this does not mean that he will do well in this world. You must know that in this world, there is no money and no background, you are just a small guy, and it is normal to be famous today and die tomorrow. You can't be mistaken, are you? Feeling the reckless gaze of the repairman, there was a trace of disgust in V's eyes, but now he could only suppress the disgust and asked in disbelief. Hee, I don't care if you can find another repairman. It's just that there are two homeless wandering around the border. I don't think anyone will be willing to help you. The repairman said slowly, implying that the money given by Yifei and V was not enough. Stop talking too much, just give me the tools and I'll fix it myself. Yifei stood in front of V at this time, blocking the repairman's impolite sight and said. Yifei, who has played this plot countless times, knows how to temporarily fix this Viper, as long as it lasts until it reaches Night City. This mission was enough for him and V to rent an apartment in the city first. Then you can try it. Of course, if it breaks down, it will cost you a lot to repair. The repairman didn't say anything in half of what he said, implying that Yifei couldn't do it. Stop talking nonsense, get out of the way. Yifei pushed the repairman away. Yifei pulled out a line next to the engine and said while operating, bypass the coupling, and then pull out a line to start the ignition. Boy, you do have a few tricks, but if you repair it like this, the compressor will keep running, and it's uncertain how long it will last. The repairman rubbed his chin with one hand and said in surprise. That's none of your business. Seeing that Yifei repaired the Viper, V said a little unhappy when he heard the repairman's words. I'll find out when I start the engine first. As Versus spoke, he walked to the driver's seat and started the car. Hey. After making a few noises, the car didn't lose face like in the game, but started directly. Hey, it's really good, but I still can't hold on to that sentence for long. The repairman said sourly. HMPH. He doesn't need to last long as he can last until Night City. V didn't want to talk too much with the mechanic, so he got into the car and picked up the radio to start a connection. As in the game, the radio has no signal at all here. V, maybe we can go to the signal tower and try it, it should work. Yifei said to V. Okay. V responded to Yifei and was ready to start the car. Swish. At this time, the shutter door was opened by a man who looked like a policeman. Seeing this person, Yifei has black lines all over his face. The sheriff at the beginning of The Homeless, especially narcissistic, has been bragging about himself. Hey, Mike, you have two guests here, why didn't I know? The sheriff asked the repairman with an arrogant face, and then walked to the front of the car and put one foot on the front of the car. Hee, Sheriff, I thought the two of them had already greeted you, and besides, they haven't been here for long. The repairman laughed and said, he originally wanted to repair the car casually and earn some extra money. There is no need to report to the sheriff, otherwise he would take away the commission that should not exist. The sheriff didn't care about the repairman's reason. He turned his head and saw V sitting in the driver's seat. His eyes lit up immediately, and then he returned to normal. Ahem, don't worry about Mike, I just want to see what's going on here. It's just a matter, there is something else we will discuss later. After speaking, he walked to the side of the car door and began to look at V sitting in the driver's seat. To be honest, he has long been tired of seeing the women in this small town, and he would have left long ago if he hadn't had no way to transfer to Night City. Now that such a beautiful woman came to the town, he didn't know it. Miss, don't you know you have to say hello to the sheriff when you're in town? Tell the sheriff what you're here for, even if it's just for a cup of coffee. V doesn't want to talk nonsense with this sulky sheriff now, but she knows that if she doesn't deal with it, both she and Yifei will be in trouble, even if it's not a big trouble for the two of them. Sorry, we didn't know about it, and our car broke down and we just wanted to get it fixed and leave. Ah, yes, you homeless come to town with either this problem or that problem, but you just don't want to come and say hello to the sheriff. So have you heard of Andrew Jones? I think you should have. The sheriff said to V and Yifei with a see-through expression. Sorry, I didn't. The Andrew Jones nicknamed Silver Shotgun, who participated in the special forces in the last corporate war. Yifei wanted to smile, but he knew that it would be obviously unwise to offend the sheriff now, so he interrupted V's words aloud. Hearing Yifei's words, the expression on the sheriff's face was obviously much more comfortable. Unexpectedly, there was someone among the homeless who had heard of his name, and the police chief looked at Yifei with softer eyes for a while. That's right, boy, you understand well, but I still don't like two homeless wandering around my town. Where is your family's camp? Which family is it? Although the sheriff was flattered by Yifei, he continued to speak. There are no clansmen, no camp, just the two of us. V said in a cold voice with no expression on his face. I wouldn't believe it. You homeless people just hug each other. The sheriff shook his head. He wouldn't believe V's words. If what V just said was about a family he didn't know, then he would detain V. As for Yifei, wasn't that the lone homeless who attacked the town killed by him? It's just that now V didn't say which family he belonged to. He wasn't sure if he could provoke it or not. Our family has been disbanded, and now we are planning to go to Night City. V shook his head without too much explanation. Oh, to Night City, just you two hard-working couples. The policeman sneered. This matter has nothing to do with you. V no longer wants to chat with the sheriff anymore, glanced at the time, remembered his commission, and asked the sheriff, the antenna on our car is broken, I saw a signal tower on the road, I want to use that signal tower to contact others. The sheriff withdrew his hand, raised the belt around his waist and threatened, you can use it if you want, I just need you two to get out of the town quickly, don't talk nonsense with me, and don't stay in the town shaking around. Now, do you understand? V also didn't want to talk nonsense with him, and after closing the car door, he said to Yifei, I don't want to cause trouble, and you don't need to. Yifei, get in the car, let's go. After Yifei got into the car, V started the car and drove the car out of the town. After reaching the signal tower and getting in touch with Jack, he drove towards where he was. Looking at the familiar scenes around and the heat wave that is too real to be real, my mind is absorbing the memory of this body. The body's name is also Yifei, and the parents are homeless living in this area, and V's parents are from the same family. A few days ago, the head of the family disbanded because of the failure of the mission, and Yifei's parents and V's parents had passed away before. In the cyberpunk world, this is normal, and the average life expectancy is not more than 30 years old. After probably digesting the body's information, Yifei looked at V, who was driving in the driver's seat again. She has long silver hair, blue eyes, and although her skin is not so fair, it is obviously because she is a homeless person who does not have good living conditions, but she still looks beautiful. Well, it was the face he pinched out. Yifei, why did you say you knew the sheriff just now? We obviously don't know him. V, if I didn't give that sheriff some face just now, we might not be able to get out of that town. It's okay to pander to that idiot's vanity a little bit. Listening to Yifei's words, V also sighed. To be honest, if the family hadn't disbanded, she wouldn't have contacted the middleman she knew to take Yifei to Night City. After all, in the desert, a homeless person without a family is really worse than a pig or a dog. You're right, we won't have a family after Yifei, we can only rely on the two of us. Of course Yifei knew that if the family hadn't been disbanded and annexed, V would not have left the family's own files. But when I think of the time I traveled through, I can't help but feel a little pity. Alas, my wife Lucy and Erica, I'm late. To be honest, if he hadn't watched that anime and played games like crazy, he might not have been able to travel to the world of Cyberpunk. It's just that when thinking about these things, Yifei felt something was wrong again. Company V probably didn't develop a prosthetic body that can be strengthened by exposure to the sun, right? Yifei stretched out his hand and put it outside the car window, and he could obviously feel a stream of warmth flowing into his body. Yifei, you didn't watch Hikeomung being invaded by a virus 2 days ago, did you? How could there be a prosthetic body that can be strengthened by exposure to the sun? When V heard Yifei's words, he stretched out his small hand and put it on Yifei's head, as if he wanted to see if Yifei had the virus. Ahem, just treat me as if I was invaded by a virus. Yifei blushed when he felt the temperature of that little hand. He was a solo mother in his previous life and never even touched a girl's hand. Ha ha ha, why? Are you shy? Are you still shy after we know each other so well? Seeing Yifei's reaction, V showed a hint of surprise on her pretty face, and then said jokingly. What's the point of being shy? It's just being invaded by the virus of Hikeomung. Yifei said with some embarrassment, and then stretched out his hand out of the car window, and his heart was full of turmoil. The two arrived at Jack's location after arguing. Well, here are the coordinates McCoy gave us. V confirmed the coordinates again, nodded to Yifei and said. When Yifei walked into the room, he saw the familiar man sitting on the sofa, a man with a fleshy face and a grumpy look. If you don't come again, I will be so poor that I will have to farm. The two of you should be V and Yifei, right? Jack said, looking at V and Yifei with his love gun. Looking at Jack's familiar and funny bald head, Yifei suppressed a smile and replied, yes, V and I are your contacts this time. You should be Jack Wilson, right? Dios mio. God, the middleman didn't tell me that V is such a beautiful lady. Jack glanced at V and said something different from the game. After all, this is not a game. This has nothing to do with you. I heard that you have some goods that you need help to take away for you. V didn't give a good look when he heard Jack's words. She had seen a lot of attractive men who were looking for V, and as time went by, V became a little annoying except for the men that Yifei thought. Chaka, sister, is in our Valentino gang. Before we talk about business, we have to have a heart-to-heart talk and get to know each other. This can be regarded as tradition to tradition. Jack saw V's expression and knew that he seemed to be the partner who offended this time, scratched his head and explained. He doesn't want to wait for the next person who is willing to take the order here in this desert, otherwise he can only farm here. Okay, then you'd better talk about some rules later. V said a little speechlessly. Hey, people always have the courage to break the rules, hermano brother, don't you think so? Jack said with a silly smile. Ah, yes, anyway, we are partnering with you on this mission. Yifei replied with a smile. In the game, he felt that the role of Jack was very full. With his optimism, humor, intelligence and wit, he seemed very happy to work with him. Ha ha ha, I like your words hermano brother, I must have a drink with you after this mission is over. Okay, you should show us the goods you are going to deliver this time, right? Seeing the seemingly harmonious chat between the two of them, V felt a little speechless. She felt that her younger brother, who had lived together for more than 10 years, felt a little strange to him. Jack patted the box in his hand when he heard V's words. Here, this is what we are going to deliver this time. What's in it? V asked curiously. If we don't know, maybe we can sleep well. Anyway, our task is to deliver this thing to the customer. I don't care about the rest. I advise you to stop asking. Jack shrugged to express his disinterest. You don't even know what it is, dare to give it away. These things were stolen from the company. V glanced at the logo on the box and said with some dissatisfaction. Steal, don't say it so badly. It's just that a fool accidentally threw it here and was picked up by another fool. I don't know how many people got here. Jack didn't care, anyway, he was only in charge of delivering the goods. Is there really no one looking for this thing? V asked in disbelief. Come on, we'll all be enjoying life in Night City by the time they find this place, won't we? After listening to Jack's words, V lowered his head, then gritted his teeth and said, okay, load the things into the car and let's go. Support the bold and starve the timid to death. If you are timid about doing everything in this world, it means that you are not suitable to survive in this world. Isn't that right? I thought you were going to let me go. Jack said and moved the box to the trunk of the car. Zenema expletive is quite heavy. Jack put the box away and patted the dust on his clothes cursingly. Something happened on the way here. Yi Fei explained to Jack what just happened. Well, I have to say that V looks really good, but that sheriff is obviously bragging. I've never heard of any silver shotgun. Jack agreed with the sheriff's vision. If he hadn't been on a mission and he met a pretty girl like V in Night City, he would definitely have struck up a conversation. Don't talk so much, I feel like I'm done when I'm done. After V finished speaking, he sat in the driver's seat. Just as Jack was about to sit in the co-pilot, V gave Jack a hard look. Jack smiled shyly and sat in the back seat knowingly. Seeing this scene, Yi Fei felt a little happy. What's the relationship between you two? Feeling bored on the road, Jack asked Yi Fei, who was sitting in the passenger seat. It's siblings, V said without turning her head, but looking at her rosy cheeks, she knew it was not as simple as she said. Yi Fei didn't reply to Jack's words, and still stretched out his hands outside to bask in the sun. The feeling of energy entering his body made Yi Fei feel very comfortable. He was basically sure now, although he didn't have the standard system for a traverser, but it seemed that God had given him something even scarier. Superman's Man of Steel. Why do you think so? Because Yi Fei felt that his strength was constantly increasing from the moment he first came into contact with the sun. He can also clearly feel more things. For example, although the skin on his body has not been verified, he can feel that his skin seems to be getting harder and harder. And his senses are constantly receiving more information. Could it be that the old man wanted him to become a legend without a prosthetic body? Yi Fei couldn't figure it out, but he didn't want to think about it anymore. After all, if his golden finger is really a Superman's steel body, then he can only be said to be a real god in this world. What about Araba Group, military technology, and biomanufacturing? They're all just ants. My friends, listen, you are all professionals, right? You should have run through this kind of smuggling line, right? Jack asked a little awkwardly. Obviously it was the first time he ran this kind of order. Haven't you ever done this job? V was still very cold. Me, who does Chica look down on? I've done everything. Well, this is my first time doing smuggling. Jack swallowed when he saw Yi Fei's half-smile expression halfway through his speech. The truth came out. V didn't say anything when she heard this. She was already on her way to work, and she didn't care that Jack hadn't done it anyway. Already able to see the checkpoint getting closer and closer on the horizon, I remembered what to do next. The sun went down, and only a little residual light shone on the desert. V was still driving the car expressionlessly. Although she turned on the radio, she still had no mood to listen to music. Jack, the middleman should have a cargo list for this mission, right? Yi Fei asked Jack. Of course, I'll give it to you now. Jack took out the bill of lading and handed it to Yi Fei. Great, it's not easy this time. What's wrong? Is there something wrong with this cargo list? Jack became a little nervous when he heard Yi Fei's words. Look here, it says Loa, which means that our goods will be lost as long as they cross the border. Then what? Isn't that telling them we're smuggling? There's nothing to do, just give the guards money. Speaking of which, Jack, the middleman should have given you enough money, right? Yi Fei imitated V and looked at Jack with a blank expression on his face. Ah, of course I did, I forgot to tell you before. Jack resentfully took out the card that the middleman gave him. Yes, you forgot. X2. Both V and Yi Fei rolled their eyes, knowing that it was the first time their partners could cheat as much as possible. Anyway, Jack took over the job himself. It's just that some things are rules for them wanderers, which is very important. Yi Fei, you can talk about it when you get to the checkpoint later. Row. The car opened the mirror to the checkpoint, and several guards at the checkpoint also surrounded them, and the roadblocks were also put down. Please drive your vehicle to the inspection area. The unquestionable voice of the guard sounded. V also drove into the checkpoint honestly. Why do I feel a little ominous? Jack said, fidgeting. Stay calm. They will see something wrong with this. V gave Jack a hard look. Okay, no hay problema, no problem, no hay problema. Jack responded, but it didn't look okay from the way he looked. Jack was still praying that the guards finished scanning the vehicle. Everyone on the vehicle in the inspection area is required to make further inquiries. What should we do now? Jack panicked when he heard what the guard said. Don't worry, it's all normal, just leave it to me. Seeing Jack's nervous expression, Yifei couldn't help laughing. Fortunately, I found you to work together. Yifei's words immediately let Jack breathe a sigh of relief. With the manifest and chips, Yifei walked into the building next to the checkpoint. Looking at the guards with live ammunition, Yifei shook his head. Although he has a superhuman body of steel, he doesn't want to bet that he can't hold up to the bullets now. After all, there will definitely be guys at the checkpoint who are not much weaker than the terrorist mobile team. But for that guy who wants to cheat after taking money, Yifei will never let him have such a non-existence. The door in front of it opened automatically when Yifei came to him. Yifei looked at the layout inside, and it looked pretty much the same as in the game. The difference was that there were a few more interrogation rooms. Please hand in your weapons here. The guard standing at the door said to Yifei in a cold tone, pointing to the window next to him. Hearing this, Yifei took out the pistol from his waist and handed it in. The guards standing aside saw the posture of holding the rifle in Yifei's hand when he took out the gun, and they all felt ready to go. It's not the guard's fault. After all, he just saw a homeless man break into the cart a few days ago and gave his senior a brain hole. He breathed a sigh of relief after seeing his colleagues put away Yifei's gun. Please go to interrogation room number 2 for questioning. Yifei took a look and found interrogation room number 2, opened the door and walked in. The guy Yifei was very familiar with sat in his seat and glanced at Yifei. Your documents. The guard glanced at Yifei, and found that he didn't wear any signs about the homeless family, and he felt a little thoughtful. Should it be just a normal inspection? Resisting the mood of punching this guy, Yifei handed him the cargo list. Maybe, but we still have to see what you sent. The guard couldn't deny it, and glanced at the words on the cargo list. When he saw the Loa, he knew that he had earned something again. What are you transporting? I don't know, the goods are all written on it. Yifei said hypocritically. Seeing that Yifei was a bit out of touch, the guard was not in a hurry to take out a cigarette and light it. If you have any questions, you can ask them, and I will help you solve them. Hearing Yifei's words, the guard only took a look at him, with a look on his face that you understand. Oh, I forgot, there is an additional item to be added to the cargo list. Yifei took out the chip and put it on the table. The guard glanced at it, and then put the cargo list on top of the chip. Which homeless family do you belong to? Saul, or Viper? The guard asked in a somewhat arrogant tone. Yifei knew that he was looking into their details, and if he said directly like V that there was no family, they would be hunted down in a short while. Well, we are Soul's people. Yifei said with a normal face. It's a hard stubble, forget it. The guard didn't doubt it when he heard Yifei say that he was from the Saul family. After all, it was normal for him to be smuggled without a family symbol. Okay, let's go, the roadblocks outside have been lowered. Looking at the smiling face of the guard, it seemed that he had never shown that arrogant look just now. Yifei didn't care so much, and walked out of the room, took his gun back from the counter and returned to the car. Hee, these little fools still think that Night City is paradise. What do you care about these scumbags? The guys from outside are just naive. Didn't you see how good-looking that girl in the car is? The guard's whispered words entered Yifei's ears verbatim. Yifei didn't care anyway. Anyone who entered Night City could become a legend. It's just that what he didn't notice was that a guard seemed to be sending some message with glowing eyes. How is it? Are you okay? V asked with some concern after Yifei got into the car. Well, everything has been taken care of. There shouldn't be any major problems this time. Yifei felt that the guard should not dare to cheat. After all, Soul's family is relatively united among the homeless. Why, I always have an ominous premonition. Jack said something that surprised Yifei. Oh, you don't always have this hunch, do you? After passing the inspection, V's mood naturally improved, and his emotions were not so tense. What are you talking about, V? How could I often feel this way? Don't worry about so many verses, we just keep driving. Yifei doesn't care so much. Anyway, if there is an accident at that time, he will just solve the accident. V and Yifei were talking about each other, but the cheerful Jack found about 10 cars coming from another road. I'm going. It's a member of the Tiger Claw gang. Jack's face suddenly became a little surprised when he saw the logo on the opponent's car. Yifei's face was full of black lines. He had already warned the guard, but he didn't expect him to dare to do such black and white things. Immediately, Yifei's eyes showed a trace of killing intent, and the veins in his clenched fist bulged, and he had to admit that he was a little angry. Don't think too much, maybe they are just passing by. Just as V wanted to comfort Yifei, members of the Tiger Claw gang who were only tens of meters away from them had already started shooting at them. Leave the stuff, you. The members of the Tiger Claw gang shouted loudly, and started shooting wildly at Yifei's car. You. Yifei cursed and took out his pistol, stretched half of his body out of the window and started shooting at the Tiger Claw gang members. Not to be outdone, Jack took out his favorite gun and started shooting at the Tiger Claws. Compared with Jack's method of suppressing firepower, Yifei's burst shots can often be shot one at a time. After all, this is not a game. All go. Yifei, your shots are really accurate. Seeing that a member of the Tiger Claw gang died with one shot from Yifei, Jack shouted in admiration. Yifei felt that as long as he focused on the Tiger Claw gang members opposite him, it would be like being slowed down. For him, it was as easy as hitting an immovable target. Not long after Yifei shot and killed a driver again, the remaining cars of the Tiger Claw gang began to flee in panic. They swear they've never seen a shooter so accurate in their lives. Hermano, brother, your marksmanship is so good, are you interested in working with me as a partner? After V stopped at the gate of a motel, Jack got out of the car and stopped Yifei's shoulder with one hand and said. V is also very curious, he clearly remembers that Yifei's marksmanship is at most similar to hers. He was able to shoot every member of the Tiger Claw gang just now, which made V feel that Yifei, whom he had known for more than 10 years, was a little strange. So you plan to go to town tomorrow, and let us make do with this motel today? Yifei twitched his mouth as he looked at the dilapidated motel in front of him. Ahahaha, look, the middleman is not ready when we bring the goods to the city at this point, it's better to go in when the city guards close tomorrow morning. This place where I live, Hermano, brother, I'm a little cash strapped. That's the only way to go, Yifei said helplessly. Jack finally opened 2 rooms, and Yifei originally planned to sleep in the same room with Jack, but V dragged Yifei into the room when Jack opened the room. Sister and brother. Jack watched Yifei being dragged into the room by V, with an understanding expression on his face. The motel room was messy and even dirty, with darkened blood on the floor and walls, some used tissues and empty drinks on the floor. The relief was at least the bed was clean. Okay. At least it looks a lot cleaner. While Yifei was still looking at the room, V's pretty face appeared in front of him, and it was very close. What's wrong? What's the matter with V? Yifei blushed involuntarily and turned away. Yifei, are you hiding something from me? A look of worry appeared on V's face. After all, after his parents passed away, V and Yifei had to do some small jobs in the family to get by. After all, the purpose of the homeless family is to get as much as you can. The two of them used to do a little bit of mess cleaning in the family, and V knew a little about guns. Yifei had only touched a gun before, but when he fought the Tiger Claw gang tonight, Yifei's marksmanship, which can be called a sharpshooter, was not something that a person who only touched a gun could do. V, do you still remember that I asked you about that prosthetic body today? Yifei doesn't intend to hide from V that he can become stronger by exposure to the sun, although it sounds nonsense, but his subconscious tells him that V will believe in him no matter what. You mean on the way to find Jack today, you asked me if I have a prosthetic body that can be strengthened by exposure to the sun. Don't talk nonsense, even if there is such a prosthetic body, it is not for ordinary people like us to use. V listened. Yifei immediately thought of what happened today, and then asked in a surprised tone, could it be that you? Yifei nodded, and then he disappeared in front of V in an instant. When V reacted, Yifei was already behind V. How did you do it? V looked around and saw Yifei behind him and said in surprise. Yifei didn't speak, but walked to the bed and lifted the whole bed with one hand. Seeing this scene, V completely believed what Yifei said, that he could become stronger by exposing himself to the sun. She grew up with Yifei, who only carried out the most basic chip socket installation and system implantation since childhood. The hands and feet are so original that they can no longer be original, and Yifei can now lift the bed that looks at least 400 kilograms with one hand. I only found out about V today. Yifei put the bed on the floor as he spoke. V was happy at first and then a little anxious and said, Yifei, you are wearing original clothes, but you have such terrifying power, you must not reveal it in front of the company dogs, or you may be arrested and studied. V's idea is very simple. If the company finds out that Yifei has the ability to become stronger by absorbing the sun, why not slice him into slices of Lanzhou beef for research? Therefore, Yifei must not show his superhuman strength in front of others at will. This Superman is not that Superman. Don't worry V, I have a sense of proportion. Yifei nodded to show that he understood. Knock knock knock. Who? V looked at the knocked door with some vigilance. It's me, Jack, I have something I want to discuss with you. Jack shouted outside the door. Come in. After Yifei finished speaking, Jack carried the box into the room, seeing Yifei and V put the box on the ground without changing their clothes. This box is still so heavy. Jack cursed, then stood up and said, didn't bother you? No, what are you looking for us to discuss? V shook his head and said with some doubts. Hey, I originally thought that I would dump you two as soon as I crossed the border, but today Yifei's marksmanship and ability to handle affairs gave me some new ideas. Are you interested? Jack didn't hide either. He believed that neither Yifei nor V was the kind of person who would suggest such a thing. You are honest, tell me what you think. Hey, what I mean is, why don't we see what's in this box, let's hack this thing. Jack said with a sly smile on his honest face. Black, are you afraid that your middleman will trouble you? V asked in surprise when he heard Jack's words. You must know that every middleman in Night City has a large network of connections. If the mercenaries want to make a living in Night City, they must not offend these middlemen. It is one thing if they can't find a job. If the middleman gets angry and offers them a reward, it will be a big deal. Don't worry, I have just contacted the middleman priest of our Valentino gang, and he is very interested in this item in my hand. Jack said confidently, he is not a brainless person. I have no objection at all. Open the box if that's what you're going to do. Yifei shrugged. To be honest, when he was sure that he had superhuman strength, he didn't care who offended anyone. Even if his body does not have the terrifying power of DC Comics Superman, as long as he is as fierce as in the movie, he will be fearless in this world. DC Superman is afraid that kryptonite has nothing to do with his cyberpunk Superman. Even Yifei is afraid of kryptonite, but where do these people in Cyberpunk go to find kryptonite? Okay, I agree, open the box and see what's inside. Seeing that Yifei agrees, V naturally has no opinion. Bark. The moment the box was opened, the low temperature inside reacted with the outside temperature to release some gas, and then Jack and V saw a creature they only saw in magazines or TV shows. Dios God. Iguana. Still red. Jack held the sleeping lizard in both hands, his eyes full of surprise. Yifei was also surprised when he saw this scene. After all, the American green iguana in the game was an ordinary green iguana, but here it turned into a rare red iguana. Is this thing worth money? V asked, rubbing his chin. Nonsense. This thing is worth at least this amount in Night City. Jack stretched out 2 fingers and said mysteriously. 20,000. 20,000 is not bad. Seeing Jack's appearance, V said what she thought was a sky-high price. In fact, this is not to blame for V. After all, the highest reward they get for working together with the homeless family is 50,000 euros. The family leader has to share 20,000 euros, and the remaining 30,000 euros can be obtained by other members of their family. Of 20,000, to be honest, this little thing like V is worth at least 200,000. 200,000, just this thing. V was shocked and frightened by the number Jack said. Of course, the big shots in Night City like to keep these pets, and this mutated and rare species is even more rare. Jack looked at the big guy in his hands with surprises in his eyes. He also raised a small shark before, but later he couldn't afford it because the cost was too high. This kind of green iguana is basically extinct in the cyberpunk world, and it is not easy to find a living one. And the red mutant in their hands is like winning the lottery. However, we only have 100,000 euros at most in our hands. After all, the priest has to deal with our middleman and find a buyer. Jack was excited for a while and then said a little depressed. Come on, how many commissions do we have to accept for 100,000 euros to earn? Please be satisfied, Jack. V saw that Jack said that although the middleman would take away 100,000, she still felt that it was not a loss. After all, if they finished the order honestly, they would get at most 20,000 euros. In Night City, rent a house at most and buy a second-hand car that is a bit broken, and it will be gone. As for the Red Viper driven by V, under the attack of the Tiger Claw gang, they were almost smashed into a sieve. That's right, how about it, V, Yi Fei? Tomorrow, I'll take you two together to find the priest, then we'll share the money there. After finishing speaking, Jack left the room. When the door was closed, Jack looked at Yi Fei with a smirk and raised his eyebrows. Seeing Jack's lifelike appearance, Yi Fei knew that Jack really regarded himself as his own, and when Jack was unfamiliar with people, he was full of arrogance. Oh, I've been running around all day, Yi Fei, I'm going to take a shower first. After V finished speaking, he walked into the bathroom. After Yi Fei waited for V to walk into the bathroom, he collapsed on the bed, feeling the first bed he lay on after coming to this world. Yi Fei still felt unbelievable. Clenching his fists, Yi Fei could feel the terrifying power inside. For some reason, it was as if he was born with it. Yi Fei knows how to control his power precisely without getting used to it. V, I will definitely let us have a good life in Night City. Thinking of this, Yi Fei began to close his eyes slowly. To be honest, although he was not physically tired at all, everything he experienced today made his mind reach its limit. Yi Fei, it's up to you. V blushed and came out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel, and was about to see Yi Fei's reaction, but saw Yi Fei lying on the bed already snoring lightly. Brat, you don't know how to cover yourself with a quilt when you sleep. V cursed and walked to the side of the bed, quietly pinching the other side of the quilt that was not pressed down by Yi Fei to cover him. Then he looked at Yi Fei softly, as if he was remembering something. Then V didn't know when she fell asleep, but only remembered that she was leaning on Yi Fei's back. Early in the morning. I fell asleep. Yi Fei opened his eyes in a daze, staring blankly at the ceiling of the motel. Suddenly he felt that his arm seemed to be clamped by something, and when he turned his head, it turned out that V was sleeping soundly holding his arm. Yi Fei didn't dare to pull it out. After all, V only had a bath towel on his body. If he pulled out his hand, he might lose it all, and if V knew about it, he might beat him up. It took about another hour before Yi Fei felt the unavoidable trembling of the person next to him, and he closed his eyes wisely and pretended to fall asleep. He didn't open his eyes until the feeling of reluctance disappeared, and the sound of the bathroom door closing sounded again. Yi Fei felt the lingering warmth on his arm, smiled, and his desire to protect V became stronger. Click. The door of the bathroom opened, and after changing his clothes, V walked out from the inside and said to Yi Fei nonchalantly, Yi Fei, you fell asleep without taking a shower last night, and you have to go to see that priest in a while. Why don't you go wash first? Wash? Oh good, I'm going to take a shower now, soon. Yi Fei breathed a sigh of relief when he heard V's words, then grabbed his backpack and rushed into the bathroom. Crash, clatter. Yi Fei, who was taking a shower in the bathroom, looked at the mirror. The man in the mirror was full of tendons, but it didn't look so ugly, but very well proportioned. Yi Fei nodded. This is the figure he likes. Although he did exercise a lot in his previous life, he was just a guy with plenty of physical strength. When Yi Fei came out of the shower, Jack was already sitting on the sofa in their room. Yo, Hermano, brother, you're finally out. I've been waiting for you for a few minutes. Well, I was so tired yesterday that I fell asleep and didn't take a bath at all. After Yi Fei finished speaking, he didn't know why Jack looked at him more, so to speak. I understand everything. Yes, you should have been very busy yesterday. It's okay, now we can go to see the priest. After Jack finished speaking, V didn't notice anything wrong with what he said, but Yifei, an old driver, understood it in seconds. But looking at V's appearance, Yifei didn't bother to expose him, so he gave him a supercilious look and the group went downstairs. Will this car last as far as Night City? I don't know, anyway, I think it should be fine. Ahem. This broken car was scrapped just after it arrived here. What a waste. Jack coughed and got out of the car that was emitting black smoke. Yifei and V also had black lines on their faces. They thought that driving slower would make the car last longer, but it was scrapped as soon as they reached the edge of the city. Seeing that there were not many cars passing by Jack, he was a little furious. Stop talking, let's find a car to use now. Yifei knew that it was useless to get angry here, it would only waste their time. After listening to Yifei's words, Jack glanced at him, and found that Yifei was very calm, and immediately felt that he had found the right partner. His temper is quite explosive, and he lacks someone who can calm down and persuade him at critical moments. It is not easy for Night City to find a reliable and smart partner. Maybe this person who calls you brothers and sisters today will sell you tomorrow. Which area are we in? Hearing Yifei's question, Jack quickly called up the map, glanced at it and gave an answer. Desafortunado, bad luck. We are in Santo Domingo, this is not good news. This is a gang formed by a group of veterans. The reason they formed it at the beginning was to ensure the safety of people in the scenic area, but this group guys are just gangsters like those Tiger Claw guys. Jack sneered and said that he was obviously very disdainful of the 6th Street Gang, which is obviously an ordinary gang, but the reason for its formation is very good. Yifei thought about it for a while and soon found information about the 6th Street Gang in his mind. This may be because as a Superman, his super brain has also started to function and recall the past. The 6th Street Gang is a gang with about 2,300 members. This group of veterans has a strong desire for protection in their territory, but they will not easily cross the border to cause trouble in other gang areas. The threat level is rated as medium in the game, and the 6th Street Gang will often force small companies in their area to pay them protection fees in the name of respecting them. Yifei felt that if they walked through this area, it would be slower to reach Haywood, but it would be better than going to the territory of the Tiger Claws they beat off yesterday. Although those who came to rob them yesterday were all young men from the Tiger Claw Gang, he didn't think it was an accident that several of them were robbed. Ding! Just when Yifei was still thinking about countermeasures, Jack's eyes turned red. What caught his eyes was the middleman he sent him this time for this task. TCH, really difficult, hello. Yes, I'm Jack. Jack, according to the agreement, you should have delivered to me an hour ago. Why haven't you come yet? Toby Jais is very upset now, he has been fidgeting since yesterday. After all, he knows how important the gadget that Jack Wells transported this time is. In order to get this product, he did not hesitate to spend 50,000 euros to let the company employee who leaked the secret to him intentionally lose this red lizard. And he also used the last 10,000 euros to help Jack Wells with the border police. He was just a small middleman. Don't want top middlemen like Tanaka, Priest, and Captain to sell tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, so they can only pick up some commissions that these big shots don't like. It's just that he was the one who initiated the commission this time. After all, the lizard worth 200,000 euros was a stepping stone that could take him to the next level. I'm sorry, Toby, we were robbed by the Tiger Claws when we crossed the border last night. Otherwise, you can go with them. I have to hang up here beforehand. After Jack finished speaking, he didn't care about Toby Jais's reaction and immediately hung up the phone. Jack Wells, you wait for me. Toby Jais is almost penniless now. He has only one loyal younger brother under his command, and the others are all mercenaries with an eye for money. And most of the people he knew were low-level mercenaries. Want to snatch them back? Totally impossible. Even the more loyal younger brother only became his younger brother because of his rich people, otherwise he would have run away long ago. No way, Night City is like this. You still want to threaten me? A guy who is strong on the outside and doing things on the inside. Jack sneered. He also probably knew a little bit about Toby Jais, otherwise he wouldn't dare to take advantage of others casually. Big man, I didn't expect you to look very honest, but you would still cheat. V patted Jack on the shoulder and said in surprise. Even if you are a beggar on the road in Night City, you can't take it lightly. Jack is not annoyed. After all, living in Night City and eating gangsters and other illegal and immoral things are his main theme. As for order, if the matter is not too big, or if it affects the rich, NCPD will not care too much. So Yifei, your plan is for us to take the public light rail to Haywood? Jack said a little speechlessly. To be honest, he thought Yifei would come up with some grandiose plan to pass through Santo Domingo, but it turned out to take the ubiquitous public light rail to Haywood. Have you watched Hey Cheomung too much? I think the most convenient thing is to take the public light rail. Why don't you spend some money and call a Delaman taxi to take us to Haywood? I think that's safer. Yifei gave Jack a blank look. Jack, this guy just doesn't like to use his brain, and he will fight the light rail of Night City at every turn, and there will be no security scanning system. It is the safest place to sit. Unless you encounter a cyber lunatic and then NCPD comes to solve it and is taken away for inspection, otherwise it is so easy to encounter NCPD. Oh, okay. Jack, you should also learn from Yifei to use your brain, otherwise won't it hold us back when we go on missions together? V said jokingly, I just don't like to use my brain, so I asked you to be my partner, didn't I? Jack smiled silly. The few people just chatted one after another, completely oblivious to the whispering of the guy standing in the corner with his back to everyone in their carriage. Destroy, kill, destroy, kill. Yifei looked around for a while. At this moment he saw a person he never dreamed he would see. With short white hair and a hot figure, it looks so suitable with that outfit. Lucy, Yifei muttered to himself. He was completely dumbfounded now. Why, shouldn't Lucy be in a retired state now? How could he be so familiar with stealing the company dog's chip on the light rail? Kill. While Yifei was still processing the information in his brain, the man in their compartment who was muttering in the corner suddenly yelled. The prosthetic body in his hand seemed to be out of control, and a machine gun barrel suddenly protruded from his hand and began to shoot. Danger. Yifei, V, and the nervous Jack immediately dodged the bullets, but Lucy, who was stealing chips just now, didn't react for a while. Yifei rushed to Lucy at a speed invisible to the naked eye and threw her down. As soon as Lucy heard the warning, she had already seen the muzzle of the cyber lunatic sweeping towards her. She thought she couldn't escape this time, and could only see where the gun would knock down. You can wait for an opportunity to escape if you don't hit the vital point, but if you hit the vital point, you can only be appointed. Just when Lucy was accepting her fate, she suddenly felt a flash of sight and found that a man dressed as a homeless man threw herself to the ground in front of her. What? No, don't. I don't want to die. The cyber lunatic looked crazy, and was still not satisfied after shooting for a week, so he started shooting at the passenger closest to him. Stupid cyber lunatic. Yifei is a crow mouth. I would rather grab a car on the road and drive to Haywood. Jack scolded fiercely, but the hand holding the box in his hand became tighter. He didn't expect that the first time he encountered a cyber madman in his life was on the light rail that he had never sat on a few times. Cyber lunatic, don't complain so much now, let's solve the matter in front of you first. V said with an ugly face, but it didn't seem to be because of the cyber madman in front of him, but because of the beautiful woman who fell on Yifei. Yifei hasn't forgotten to pick up girls at this time. Jack scolded with a smile, because he followed V's line of sight and found Yifei and Lucy not far in front of them. Thank you. Lucy was very grateful to the man in front of her. If it wasn't for him, she might just lie on the ground and bleed to death like those who were hit by cyber lunatics. Don't thank me in a hurry, our crisis has not been resolved yet. Although Yifei really wanted to chat with Lucy in front of him, the cyber madman in front of them was already killing the fifth passenger on the light rail. As soon as Yifei finished speaking, he rushed out and quickly reached the front of the cyber maniac. Hey, you idiot, your grandpa is here. Yifei's speed was so fast that the cyber maniac only felt a figure passing by beside him, and then the voice sounded behind him. Kill. The cyber maniac seemed unable to say anything else now. After a low growl, he stretched out 10 slender needles and stabbed at Yifei. Taking a closer look at the 10 needles, it seems that there is still some liquid left, and it is not difficult to see that it should be something highly poisonous. Yifei. Seeing this scene, V couldn't help exclaiming, although she already knew that Yifei had become stronger last night, but as Yifei's family, she didn't want Yifei to go out to be a hero at this time. Be careful. Lucy was also surprised. Although she hadn't seen cyber lunatics many times, she still knew the danger of cyber lunatics. To be honest, their hackers are a little afraid of these cyber lunatics. Unlike in the game, the cyber lunatic hackers here can interfere with them at most. You must know that the systems of these cyber lunatics have long been in chaos. It is simply impossible to control the prosthetic bodies of cyber lunatics and burn themselves like in the game. Although in the eyes of others, the speed of this cyber madman is already very fast, but in the eyes of Yifei, the speed of this guy is no different from that of a snail. The hand had just touched Yifei's face, Yifei's eyes were focused, and for a moment he only felt the time and pause of this world. Then Yifei grabbed the cybermaniac's arm with one hand, and then Yifei pulled hard. Click, click, click. Ah! Rao is a cyber lunatic who has lost his reason and was stunned for a moment. He clearly remembered that his hand was about to poke the prey in front of him. Why did my arm disappear from my sight? He only started to react when he heard the sound of electric current rushing past his ears. Ah! It turned out that his hand had been torn off by Yifei. Although it was a mechanical medical hand, the pain of being torn off would not be relieved at all. And because it is a cyber lunatic and the fusion of the prosthetic body is even more indispensable, the pain is even more obvious. Immediately afterwards, Yifei flashed behind him and kicked him to the ground. Yifei stepped on the cybermaniac's back with one foot. The huge force crushed this cyber lunatic whose whole body was covered with prosthetics, unable to move. Hey, Chica, sister, Yifei has always been so brave. Jack swallowed his saliva. When Yifei just ran to challenge the cybermaniac, Jack thought he was crazy. After all, every cybermaniac didn't know how many prosthetic bodies were hidden in his body. Maybe you just grabbed his hand 1 second, and a mantis knife that cuts iron like mud will pop out of it the next second and cut you in half. At this time, the floating car had found a relatively large open space to land and the surrounding crowd had been dispersed by the NCPD. Those who usually like to watch the excitement did not dare to join in the excitement at this time. Just kidding, this is a cyber lunatic. This kind of guy is irrational and basically kills anyone he sees. People who like to watch the excitement no longer dare to approach. Seeing that the floating car had landed, the other people in the car couldn't wait to run out. I think we can withdraw first and wait for Yifei outside. Jack watched as the NCPD surrounding their hovercar clutched the cash cow box containing the 3 of them. If you want to go, you go, I won't leave. How could V have left while Yifei was still fighting the cybermaniac? It was just a foul curse. You guys get out of the car first, I'll be here right away, or I'll be in trouble if I get taken away by NCPD in the future. Yifei also said at this time, he knew that V was worried about him, but after the short fight just now, he had already discovered that his strength and speed had reached such a terrifying level. V was relieved when he heard Yifei's words, but for some reason, V's hanging heart was only relieved when Yifei said he could. Okay, then Jack and I will get out of the car first and wait for you nearby. Remember, don't be a hero. After gritting his teeth, V and Jack escorted the box in his hand out of the carriage. You have to be careful yourself, that guy's body is uncertain and he will hide some dangerous prosthetic bodies. Lucy had already stood up and walked out of the car at this time, but there was still a hint of anxiety on her face reminding her. At this time, the cybermaniac suddenly started to struggle violently, and his hands and feet began to show that weird twisted angle. Can't you be honest? Just as Yifei was about to chat with Lucy, he felt the cyber madman under his feet start to struggle violently. You just shut up. As soon as Yifei finished speaking, the foot that stepped on the cyber lunatic lifted up, and before the cyber lunatic had time to react, Yifei's big 43-yard foot stepped on his head. Yifei stepped on his foot with 60% force. Puff! Immediately, the cyber lunatic under Yifei's feet was motionless, except for the occasional twitching of his hands and feet. Cyber psychosis. That's it. Yifei thought how terrifying this thing was, but he didn't take it seriously. Follow up. Where is that cyber madman? The violent and terrorist mobile team who had just rushed into the car were stunned when they saw this scene. Yifei, dressed as a homeless person, held an arm of a cyber lunatic in his hand, and there was a red and white liquid under his feet. Officer, are you referring to the cyber lunatic under my feet? Cyber maniac, you look like a cyber maniac now. You are not allowed to move. Stand where you are. Accept the scan. Several members of the Violent Mobile team were extremely nervous at this time. Although they knew which one was the cyber maniac through the monitoring in the car before getting into the car, the man in front of him who defeated the cyber maniac without any injuries was even more nervous. Make them nervous. Hey, you guys who don't know how to be grateful, I don't have time to spend here with you guys. Yifei said that the whole person disappeared in the eyes of this group of violent terrorist mobile team members. How is this possible? The members of the Violent Mobile team looked around the car, but they were shocked when they didn't find any trace of Yifei. Their equipment included prosthetic scanners for military-grade movement speed. How could Yifei be faster than these scanners? Forget it, let's just clean up the mess in front of us first. The leader of the violent terrorist mobile team said. V, do you think Yifei can escape? Jack frowned and said, to be honest, he should be more guarded against Yifei than a cyber madman NCPD cop. After all, being able to easily defeat a cyber lunatic is something that even the elite police officers of the terrorist mobile squad can't do, usually relying on the advantage of numbers and the consumption of cyber lunatics. Yifei will be fine. Jack also saw that although V said he was fine, he was actually in a panic. V and Jack are already on their way to find the priest. After all, they have spent so much effort on this stupid lizard in their hands, and now they naturally need to get this matter done first. Jack also gave Yifei the priest's address long ago. As long as Yifei can escape, he will come to them. Lucy, who was hiding behind the crowd, was also a little worried. Although she didn't know Yifei, she somehow saved her life. Lucy had already left the car when the terrorist mobile team arrived. After all, there must be people from the company in the NCPD. If she hid her tracks for so long, she wouldn't be arrested here, so I didn't see Yifei either. Stomp on that cyber lunatic's head. Lucy now just wants to see Yifei get out of the car safely, and even be carried out by the terrorist mobile squad. I don't know why Lucy's heart, which was originally calm, had a ripple. What are you looking at? A familiar voice rang in Lucy's ear. Ah, Lucy was taken aback, and then saw Yifei leaning against the pillar next to her. Yifei looked at Lucy with a smile on his face. No, I didn't see anything, I'll go first. Lucy felt a little cramped for some reason, and planned to run away after speaking. Wait, hearing Yifei's words, Lucy stopped moving even though she didn't know what he was going to do. I saved your life anyway, miss, won't it be too rude to just go away? ... Lucy took Yifei to a small ramen shop that she liked in the Haywood area, and Lucy felt a little speechless when she saw Yifei unceremoniously slamming ramen in front of her. I didn't expect Haywood to have such a delicious ramen shop, Yifei said contentedly after taking a sip of the soup. Lucy was drinking her favorite carbonated drink, dragging her face with one hand and said speechlessly, how is it? Is this okay? Thank you very much for your hospitality. My name is Yifei. I used to be a homeless person and now I come to Night City to beg for a meal. After Yifei finished speaking, he stretched out a hand. Yifei's enthusiastic attitude caught Lucy a little off guard. After all, she had experienced too much since she escaped from the institution, grabbing other people's leftovers from beggars in the garbage dump. I have also met some perverts who coveted her body, but I have never met someone who wants to blow up her family background like Yifei. My name is Lucy. There is a saying in Night City that I have to tell you not to reveal your details to others easily. After speaking, Lucy shook Yifei's hand. Hee, that's right, it's the first time for me to do this too. It's the first time I've told a person my details like this. Of course Yifei knew that out of 10 sentences he said in Night City, there could only be at most 3 truthful sentences, otherwise he might be betrayed at any time. It's a good thing for Lucy to reveal her name. You must know that in the anime, even if she worked with Man and the others for a year, Lucy and them basically only interacted when performing missions. If it weren't for David, it would be impossible for Lucy to have so many interactions with them. It is estimated that they will wait until Man's death and change to another mercenary boss. I just saw that you seem to be, Yifei said, imitating the action when Lucy stole a company dog chip in the car just now. Hey, quiet me. Are you going to talk about this like this? Lucy immediately grabbed Yi Fei's hand and pressed it down when she saw Yi Fei's movement. Oh, I've convinced you. Let me tell you the truth. I'm a hacker. I've only been in Night City for less than a month, but I only steal chips from company dogs. Lucy suddenly seemed to be discouraged and explained later. I don't suggest that. Anyway, everything can be tolerated in Night City. Yi Fei said carelessly. Anyway, in Night City, as long as you don't get caught by the police immediately or offend the rich. Even if the police scan you on the street and find that you are a bounty criminal, they don't bother to care about it. Usually it's, oh, leave it to outsourced personnel to solve it, and just put a reward on the prisoner if you catch the prisoner. How is it? I think you should be a good hacker. Are you interested in joining my team? Yi Fei offered an olive branch to Lucy. You, the team, didn't you just enter the city? Lucy looked at Yi Fei suspiciously. Hey, you don't have to worry about that. You should be able to see my skills in the car just now, and the terrorist mobile squad couldn't catch me. Lucy couldn't help being a little stunned seeing Yi Fei's eloquent talk. After all, the people in Night City had always given him the impression of indifference. On the contrary, Yi Fei gave Lucy a different feeling. Perhaps, Yi Fei is someone who can be trusted. Okay, I promise you. Really? Great. Yi Fei originally wanted to say something more to impress Lucy, but Yi Fei was a little surprised to hear that Lucy agreed just like that. Is it that simple? Chapter 11. What? You invited me to join your team, and now you want to go back on it? Seeing Yi Fei's surprised look, Lucy felt a little bit of joy in her heart for some reason. To be honest, as a hacker who has been trained by the company since she was a child and has seen many lives and deaths, Lucy has never had so many mood swings in the past few years when she escaped from the research institute and then went to Night City. Unexpectedly, in the process of communicating with Yi Fei, she would feel so many emotions. Thinking of this, the corner of Lucy's mouth showed a sincere smile. Lucy, don't you look good when you smile? It's better for yourself to smile more in the future. Seeing Lucy smiling, Yi Fei was very happy even though she didn't know what she was thinking. Originally thought that this Lucy would be as hard to show herself as the Lucy in the anime, but what I didn't expect was that it was easier to get close to the cold beauty than the anime. Ding, ring, Yi Fei received a call from V at this time, and after some time in his mind, it should be that V and Jack had already finished their deal with the priest. V, are you done with it? Yi Fei saw V's face when he got on the phone. Yi Fei, you should get rid of NCPD, right? V asked nervously. Aren't I going to call you again? By the way, V, I found a master hacker who can help us in the future. We are at the Dashin Ramen restaurant. If you are done, come and find me. Okay, I just happen to be hungry too, but where did you find the master hacker? Hey, let's keep it a secret for now, and I'll talk to you in detail when you guys come. Yi Fei sent her location and V hung up the phone. Yi Fei, actually, I don't want to know so many people. I can give you my contact information. Wouldn't it be great if I have work to do in the future? Lucy heard that Yi Fei wanted to introduce her to other people in the team. Years of lonely life and guarding against others made Lucy somewhat resistant. Don't worry, my team is all trustworthy people. Besides, we also need to get to know each other when we need to perform tasks in the future. It's better to know each other now than to rush ducks to the shelves in the future, right? Catch the ducks to the shelves. What does that mean? Well, there is an old saying in our Chinese hometown, which means that if you don't prepare properly, you can easily mess up. Yi Fei scratched his head and reluctantly explained. After listening to Yi Fei's words, Lucy lowered her head and thought for a few seconds. After thinking about it, she felt that what Yi Fei said was also reasonable. As a team member, you need to be familiar with each other, but at least you must know the specific responsibilities of the other party. It is of course best to get to know each other, but Lucy didn't notice that she had already begun to automatically accept Yi Fei's words subtly. Okay, let's get to know each other then. Yi Fei was also very happy to hear Lucy's words. To be honest, he wanted to change the idea of being lonely like Lucy in the anime and wanting to take care of everything by himself. After all, sometimes when you need to rely on others, don't support yourself. I just don't know if David is still studying at Arbin Academy in this timeline. After all, Lucy appeared at the same time as V just entered Night City. And it's 2 years later than the timeline in the anime. Maybe it's too early. After all, Yifei thinks that the Lucy in this world has just turned 20, not the 22 or 23 years old in the anime. Yifei. When Yifei had just finished his third bowl of noodles, he heard Jack's familiar voice. Here, V. Jack, come here. Yifei waved to V and Jack, who were standing in front of the small shop. You boy, you can actually escape from the hands of the violent mobile team, you have a few tricks. Jack patted Yifei on the shoulder with a smile and said. There are a lot of people here. You said that I seem to be a cyber psychopath. How can I escape from the hands of the violent terrorist mobile team? Yifei rolled his eyes and said angrily. Yifei, how do you know about this small shop? V is a bit puzzled. After all, this is Yifei's first time entering Night City. Although the location of this small shop is not remote, it is definitely not a place that Yifei randomly picked. Lucy brought me here. Lucy. It's the master hacker I found. Here, it's her. V looked at Lucy sitting next to Yifei, who was drinking a carbonated drink and raising her hand to signal to herself. She just felt confused now. Why would Yifei know that this beautiful girl is a master hacker? Wow, Yifei is really talented. I didn't expect you to find such a beautiful girl after V and I left for such a short time. On the contrary, when Jack saw Lucy's appearance, he was not much surprised. Jack had noticed Lucy just now on the public light rail. After all, he has such a good-looking face and a good figure. Even if Jack had Misty, he would care about it. After all, no matter whether a man is 8 or 80 years old, he always has to look twice more. Jack hasn't seen you look serious all day. Yifei didn't know how many times he gave Jack the eyes today. He felt that if he turned over, he might have cramp. Yifei, I'll transfer the reward to you now. I'll give V's share from the priest. Seeing that the zero balance in the lower left corner of his line of sight had increased by more than 60,000 euros, Yifei felt a lot more at ease. Hi, I'm V. Lucy, a hacker. Compared with Yifei and Jack's carefree communication, the communication between Lucy and V seems much more dull, but is it really what it looks like on the surface? V looked at Lucy in front of her. The short white hair just right, matched with that delicate face, and that outfit all gave V a sense of crisis that she didn't even know about. When V was looking at Lucy, Lucy was also looking at V. Although V's skin was not as delicate and fair as Lucy's, it didn't look dry, peeling, and black like those homeless people outside. The healthy wheat color looks just right with the curvy figure and the silver hair. Hey, what are you two beauties talking about? My name is Jack Wells, and you can call me Jack just like Yifei. Jack poked his head out to greet Lucy. Lucy. After saying her name Lucy, she didn't continue to say more. Seeing that Lucy didn't intend to chat with him, Jack didn't think too much, but ate the ramen that the boss had just served. Oh, the ramen here at Yifei is really good. I didn't expect you to find this kind of shop. Jack originally thought that Yifei was just looking for a ramen shop to fill his stomach when he was hungry, but he didn't expect the ramen here to be so delicious. Ahaha, is that right, or not? Yifei didn't say that Lucy brought him here. After all, Lucy might not want others to know. Phew. Oh, then, where are you going to live? I transferred a huge sum of money just now. Jack asked with a muffled face, because he hadn't swallowed the noodles in his mouth, so it seemed that Jack's voice was a little unclear. Please, can you swallow it and talk properly? Yifei was a little speechless. This kind of thing is not so urgent, right? After all, there is no rush now. Actually, I don't know which house to rent. After all, V and I just came to Night City. After Yifei finished speaking, he looked at V, who was chatting enthusiastically with Lucy, which made Yifei puzzled. Why, this cyberpunk world is not the world of his previous life, and women can still talk about cosmetics and luxury goods when they meet. Neither V nor Lucy are the kind of women who care about such things, are they? Yifei really can't figure out why V and Lucy have the same language. V, what kind of house do you want to live in? Hearing Yifei's words, V waved his hands without turning his head and said, You decide, don't disturb my chat with Lucy. Okay, Yifei, just let me chat with you. I just know a few better buyout apartments, one-time payment for 1 year and no additional utility bills and electrical usage fees. Quote. As Jack spoke, his eyes lit up. and then a contract plan for 4 houses appeared in front of Yifei's eyes. The rent of the apartment in Japan Street is 15,000 euros. It is located next to the Cherry Blossom Market. It has 2 bedrooms, 1 living room and 1 kitchen, with independent bathroom. Unrestrained, standing by the window can enjoy the style of the neighborhood. Although the rent of this apartment was okay, Yifei felt that the layout was too small and not suitable for him, but thinking of this, Yifei suddenly felt that the things Jack sent looked familiar no matter how they looked. Jack, you just sent me the ad. When Yifei saw the advertisement, he knew that it wasn't Jack's handwriting homework at all. He probably wrote down the better advertisements he saw and sent them to him. Hey, don't worry about so many details, Buenamigo buddies, just pick the one you like. Anyway, the money you and V made this time is enough for you to rent a good apartment. Jack smiled and didn't refute. Seeing Jack's appearance, Yifei didn't say too much. After all, Jack didn't have too many debts before doing this job. It's not bad. He probably wouldn't consider renting a better house until he had enough money. Thinking of this, Yifei began to look at the advertisement Jack sent him again. The Company Square apartment rents for 55,000 euros, located next to the Company Square in the city center. 1 bedroom and 1 living room have an independent cloakroom and an independent bathroom with dry and wet separation. There is also a home bar counter, which is developed by Raba Group and has quality assurance. Stylish and classic decoration, excellence, and complete security facilities is your ideal home. Standing in front of the apartment bed, you can enjoy the most beautiful scenery of Night City. Yifei can't wait to kill Adam Heavyhammer and live not far from Wangban Tower. And the price of 55,000 euros is entirely because the house is near the Arbon Tower, not because of how good the house is, and the space is about the same size as the previous Japan Street apartment. The apartment buyout system in the North District requires a one-time payment of 5,000 euros. It is located in the North District of the city, with 1 bedroom and 1 living room. It is reliable and practical, and the small space makes it comfortable to use. Yifei glanced at the preview of this apartment and shook his head. Although this house is very cheap and can be bought for only 5,000 euros, the space is really too small. It's fine for 1 person to live in, but I want to use it for him, and V living in it is pure nonsense. The one-time payment of 40,000 euros for the apartment buyout system in the Valley area is located in the Valley area. It is divided into upper and lower floors. The lower floor is the daily life area and the upper floor is the rest area. The decoration atmosphere has a unique metal texture. This set of Yifei is quite satisfactory. Seeing the preview picture, all kinds of facilities are available, the space is still large, and the location is in the Haywood area. It's not the city center as advertised, but the location is not too far from anywhere. That's the Valley apartment, Jack. With a flash in front of Yifei's eyes, he signed the electronic contract that came with the advertisement, and the words -40,000 appeared in the lower left corner of his eyes in an instant. Although it hurts a bit, Yifei still thinks the money is worth it. V, I just bought an apartment in Haywood, should we go and have a look now? That apartment is not far from our side. Yifei said to V after finishing all this. Oh, did you choose the apartment? Although I think I can trust your vision, let's go and see how this apartment is. Lucy, how about you come to visit too? Huh, that's not appropriate, is it V? What's inappropriate? Yifei, I want Lucy to visit the apartment you just bought, do you agree or not? Agree, how could I disagree? Yifei felt happy when he heard what V said, how could he disagree? Lucy just lived in their house and he didn't recommend it. Wow, Yifei, your vision is really good, the scenery and the decoration. Jack stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows and looked enviously at the scene below the high-rise apartment building. To be honest, if he hadn't owed money to others before, and he had a fancy motorcycle, he would have wished to buy such an apartment and live in it. Well, it's really good. Yifei replied a little speechlessly and at the same time was full of depression. He originally thought that he could visit this apartment alone with V and Lucy, but he didn't expect that Jack, who likes to join in the fun, also came. Your uncle, I will call your phone sooner or later when you and Misty are doing business. Lucy didn't act that exaggeratedly, but she couldn't hide the envy in her eyes. She had only been in Night City for less than a month. She hasn't found an apartment suitable for her yet, and the money she earns from stealing chips every day is enough for her to live in a better hotel and eat. After all, there is no stable and reliable middleman, and Lucy can only find some poorly skilled prosthetic doctors to sell those chips at a low price. Seeing that the first order Yifei completed on the first day in Night City was enough for him to afford the €40,000 apartment, the gap in his desire to live on the moon was even greater. What's the matter, Lucy? What's on your mind? What's your problem? Both Yifei and V noticed something strange about Lucy. It's nothing, I just think that you and Yifei are so good that you can afford this apartment just after entering the city and completing the first order. When Lucy heard Yifei and V's words, she didn't react for a while and expressed her inner thoughts. By the time she realized it, it was too late. I'll go to the bathroom first. After Lucy finished speaking, she ran into the bathroom. Lucy, what happened to you today? You didn't show that vigilance at all. Lucy washed her face and then looked up at herself in the mirror, showing a little tiredness. Yes, who can live alone for nearly 10 years without being tired? Perhaps Yifei and V, who are homeless today, treat Lucy with the same attitude as their family members. Let Lucy inadvertently remove her high cold disguise. Night. Some outdoor bar in Night City. Oh, isn't this Toby? I heard that you were tricked by a third-rate mercenary and 2 homeless people. Why do you have time to come to my place for a drink today? Man looked mockingly at Toby J's, who was sitting next to him, drinking one bottle after another. I've never been so angry in my life. I'll use my last savings to give it to you. Go and kill that third-rate mercenary and those 2 homeless. Toby J's eyes were red, and his eyes had lost all reason. Tell me how much money you can pay. Man glanced mockingly at Toby J's, who was full of madness. He had heard that the pocket of his trousers was cleaner than his face by that third-rate mercenary. Gritting his teeth, Toby J's directly transferred his last 5,000 ohms to Man. Yo, generous, what do you call that mercenary? Man didn't refuse. Anyway, it was quite easy for him to kill a third-rate mercenary, it just took a little time to find someone. Here's the information. One is Jack Wells, he's from Haywood, he used to be part of the Valentino gang, and the other 2 are V and Yifei, both homeless. After all this was done, Toby Jaic raised his head and drank the beer in his hand. Jack, you made me do this. Toby Jaic still remembers Jack's mocking tone in the morning. Although he is a small middleman, he shouldn't be a third-rate mercenary like Jack who can kill him. He is now almost the target of ridicule by everyone, whether it is the mercenaries he hired before or his former subordinates. Toby, you can actually let a third-rate mercenary screw you, ha ha ha. No money. You still want to be my boss if you don't have money. Get the hell out of here. Doesn't it make you more honorable to hang out with someone than with you? It is easier to become a mud in Night City than to become a legend. In other words, good things don't go out and bad things spread thousands of miles. In just half a day, the news that Toby was ripped off by Jack without a dime has already spread among the low-level mercenaries. Midnight. Yifei stood in front of the huge floor-to-ceiling windows looking at the brightly lit Night City below, drinking the beer that came with the refrigerator at home. Well, it is brightly lit. After all, it is normal for Night City lights and fire to appear together. But he was very restless in his heart. After all, no one would be driven to sleep on the sofa in the living room on the first day they bought a new home. The reason is because V knew that Lucy didn't have a fixed residence yet, so he simply invited Lucy to live in their house, and there were only 2 beds upstairs. Naturally, Yifei was driven to sleep on the sofa in the living room. He didn't expect that V would become a best friend within half a day of getting along with Lucy, and he didn't know what the 2 of them had in common. Can't sleep. Yifei turned around and saw Lucy walking down the attic stairs. Well, you can't sleep either. Not much to say. Although Yifei now possesses superhuman abilities, it seems that this ability has not been fully activated. He calculated the power he had now. Super strength, super brain, super speed, man of steel. The rest of the Cyclops, flying, biological stance and the like are not unlocked, maybe because the sun hasn't been exposed enough. I'm not used to living with people. Although Lucy hesitated, she still expressed her true thoughts. Hee. You don't need to worry about anything. You can live here until you have the money to rent a house by yourself. I have already asked Jack to find a middleman to accept the commission. Yi Fei sat on the sofa and drank the beer in his hand. Is there any more? Lucy said with gleam in her eyes. Let me see, how many bottles do you want to drink and I'll take them. Well, let me have a drink too. A man and a woman just sat on the sofa and drank beer. Why are you and V coming to Night City? Why did you come to Night City? The family broke up, and V and I came to Night City. You know that's not what I'm talking about. Hearing this, Yi Fei smiled heartily, glanced at Lucy and said, okay, I want to be a living legend in Night City. What about you? What dream did you come to Night City to realize? Hearing Yi Fei's question, Lucy pondered for a while, then took out a device that can play Mewtwo, and then took out a chip like a baby. You should also have Cheomung equipment. Hearing what Lucy said, Yi Fei took out the somewhat old Cheomung device that he brought out from the family in his backpack. Is this okay? Alright, let me connect with you and share this super dream with you. Lucy nodded and said. Hearing this, Yi Fei revealed the connection port around his neck. After all the preparations were done, Lucy and Yi Fei lay on the spread-out sofa. After a flash of white light, Yi Fei found himself and Lucy standing on the surface of the moon. Yi Fei jumped 5 meters with a light jump. This is the data of a normal person with Cheomung equipment. If Yi Fei's superhuman physical fitness is used, I am afraid that he will jump out of the moon. It's really a wonderful feeling. So is your dream to go to the moon? Yi Fei asked knowingly. No, I want to live on the moon. Lucy said calmly. It's really a good dream. Hearing Yi Fei's words, Lucy looked at him and asked, don't you think it's a little childish? Childish, maybe, but everyone has to have something to pursue, right? Let's enjoy our time on the moon for now. After Yi Fei finished speaking, he began to experience this feeling of weightlessness. To be honest, it would be great if the warm sun in Cheomung could also absorb energy for him. The two walked on the moon, and before Yi Fei skipped across, he was just an 18-year-old college student who had just entered college. Although I have been maintaining my rationality after time travel, the lively and positive attitude in my heart cannot be changed. These are exactly the parts that Lucy lacks. She is always in fear all the way, for fear that one day she will be arrested by the company again. One day, I saw an advertisement that I could go to live on the moon, and only then did I have this dream of going to the moon. By the time Lucy realized it, Yi Fei was already sitting on a lunar exploration vehicle holding her hand. This can also be opened. Yi Fei had already started playing with this thing as he spoke. Like Lucy in the anime, holding the manual gear and moving the car a few times, there was a movement, and then Yi Fei stepped on the accelerator. Swish. All of a sudden the car rushed out. Woohoo, it's so cool. Ha ha ha. Yi Fei drove Lucy's emotions into agitation. Yi Fei is right here, stop here. Driving somewhere. Lucy patted Yi Fei on the shoulder. Okay. Yi Fei turned the steering wheel and slammed on the brakes. Click, bark, bark. The wheels of the lunar exploration vehicle made a harsh drifting sound. Here is the kind of helmet worn by astronauts, do you want to try it? Lucy took out 2 helmets from the back of the car and put them on first. Yi Fei didn't refuse either, so he put on the helmet. Well, there is no other experience except that the vision becomes a little dim. Thinking of this, Yi Fei saw Lucy standing opposite him. Ha ha ha, this look is kind of fun. Lucy blushed when she heard Yi Fei's words. Before, she was in this super dream by herself, and this time she walked on the moon with Yi Fei for the first time. Now there is another person who went to the moon with me, only to find that his appearance looks a little silly. Ha ha, but Lucy didn't feel embarrassed and laughed heartily with Yi Fei. So that's all the footage you got from that car. A well-dressed woman sat at the main seat in the conference room and said while looking at the screen projected. Yes, we found this man in the surveillance video of the public light rail where the cyberpsychotic incident happened this morning. The man in a black suit said respectfully. But the man in this video doesn't seem to have anything special. Abernathy rewinds the video for a second with contemptuous eyes. The man in the screen is Yi Fei. In the video, Yi Fei appears behind the cybermaniac again in an instant, and then it is Yi Fei who single-handedly withdraws from the game. Crazy Bo's arm, Yi Fei stomped on Crazy Cyber's head and ran away after boarding the car with the terrorist mobile team. The great thing is that I installed the 4th Order model Sean Weston, and probably installed some military-grade prosthetic bodies on my hands. It's not a big deal. If you call me to the company's confidential studio just for this, I promise you're going to get out of the Baron Tower tomorrow." Abernathy was a little annoyed. Although she was a ruthless character who could use Tier 4 Sean Whiston, this was at most something that her subordinates had the authority to decide. As one of the high-level executives of the Arbon Company, if she was troubled by this role every day, she might be too busy to die. "Please use this chip to take a look. At the beginning, we also thought that this person had installed a military prosthetic body, but we discovered an even more astonishing fact." The man in black tremblingly handed a chip to Abernathy. "Hey, well, this is the last time. If I don't see anything of value, you'll be wasted." As he spoke, Abernathy took out his Mewtwo device, and then inserted the chip on it. A burst of white light flashed. Abernathy's perspective is obviously that of the cyber madman. The video started when Yifei appeared in the sight of the cyber maniac. As soon as the shooting started, people in the carriage turned upside down, and everyone fell to the ground, except for the white-haired woman who stood there dumbfounded. "HMPH, stupid, you deserve to die," Abernathy said softly. "After all, cybermaniacs who have already pulled out their guns and shot them and are still standing there dumbfounded are not suitable for living in Night City where shootings happen every day." But just when the bullet was about to hit the white-haired woman, she disappeared from the cybermaniac's sight. "What's going on? Is there something wrong with Cheomung?" Abernathy frowned and asked. "Director, you rewind the video half a second ago and slow it down 100 times. Hearing what the man in black said, Abernathy did the same, and then he saw Yifei appearing next to the white-haired woman for an instant and then disappearing from sight. Although it was slowed down 100 times, she could only see the afterimage of Yifei. Then came the various actions of Yifei appearing in the sight of the cybermaniac. This person can actually use 4 or 5 fourth-order CNY stands in a few minutes. Abernathy was a little surprised. One must know that even the second-order Sean Whiston can only be controlled by veterans who have experienced many battles. The 4th-level Cianweistein is afraid that if he uses it once, he will become a lunatic, but the man in this video can use it 4 or 5 times in a row, and from the perspective of a cyber lunatic, there is no burden at all. Well, he can indeed be a level figure that you can report to me for processing. Send me his information. Just after Abernathy finished speaking, the man in black said again, "Director, you can use the scan to see, that's why I reported him to you." Abernathy frowned, although she hadn't scanned it, but based on her own judgment and Yifei's performance in the video, she could basically judge that this is a wanderer who obtained the 4th-order Cianvestein by some method. As for the 5th-order Sean Weistein, even the Atom Heavy Hammer didn't dare to install that thing, it was too much of a burden. It is possible that the prosthetic hand is also a military 4th-order prosthetic body. I didn't think too much about it, since my confidant asked her to scan it, then just do it. Yifei, who previously belonged to the Buckle family, entered Night City this morning. Single quote. The information presented in front of him is also basically in line with Abernathy's conjecture. Maybe it's just a wanderer who broke away from his family, maybe it's the 4th-order Cianwiston obtained by robbing a military company's transport convoy. However, the following information completely shocked Abernathy. Scan results: none of the prosthetic bodies are normal human organs. None. Prosthetics. These big characters are displayed in Abernathy's eyes. This is impossible. His speed cannot be achieved by the human body. This has been tested in the company long ago. Abernathy was shocked. As the director of the company's intelligence department, he had seen all kinds of super-modified people equipped with advanced prosthetic bodies. She has even met the legendary Atom Hammer in Night City Mercenaries, and she even has the authority to instruct Atom Hammer. As long as she makes a phone call, Atom Heavy Hammer will come to do things for him immediately, even if he is installing the prosthetic body now. But she swears that she has never seen anyone in her life who can fight someone with a prosthetic body with unmodified hands and feet, and it's not just hard work or exercise that can make up for it. In the video, Yifei is not just a lunatic who easily abuses cyber. Cyber lunatics are generally people who have transformed themselves into insanity. Almost all the prosthetic bodies on their body are more than 60% perverted. Even people with similar levels of modification can't fight these cyber lunatics. After all, how can you fight with reason while desperate? Director Abernathy, our technicians have scanned everything, and all faults have been eliminated. Hurry up. This homeless man named Yifei doesn't have any prosthetic body except for the simplest chip slot and operating system. The man in black knows the importance of this matter, and it is very likely that it will become a step for him to reach the sky, so he is also very concerned. Use the company's lower-level personnel to find this homeless person. Remember, I want to live. Abernathy pondered for a while, then said, "It's very simple. Since the company's technicians have scanned it and it shows that Yifei doesn't have any prosthetic body, all of them are original. So unless the scanning systems of her and these technicians are all broken, although Abernathy believes in the second possibility compared to the first one. But that's simply not possible. The most urgent task now is to catch Yifei to the wasteboard and take him to their Space Research Institute urgently before other companies can react." To be honest, it was lucky that human beings like Yifei, whose physical stats far surpassed others, appeared first in Night City, where their Wangban company had control. Otherwise, if they appear in the territory of Kangtao or military technology and let them take the lead in researching the reason for the birth of a superhuman like Yifei, Aragata may even have a slim chance of breaking his arms. It's just that Abernathy doesn't know that Yifei's ability is completely out of their control. That is the power of the gods on Earth. Inside the luxury apartment in Night City. Are you saying this guy in the video is a homeless guy who just came into town? Jefferson fell into deep thought while watching the video sent by his confidant in NCPD. Yes, Jefferson, I think you can recruit this man and make him work for you. Wayne's eyes are burning. Although he doesn't know what kind of prosthetic body the person in this video is, but the ability to easily kill cyber lunatics in seconds, as long as he can enter the violent terrorist mobile team and execute a few times to kill cyber psychopaths. Then Jefferson can use his contacts in the media to promote a hero, so that Jefferson's mayoral campaign may be even simpler. Okay, I'll get someone to investigate this homeless man. After weighing the pros and cons, Jefferson also felt that recruiting Yifei would help him compete for the position of mayor. It's just that if Yifei knew Jefferson's thoughts, he would only pity him. After all, although Jefferson was young and promising, he could compete for the mayor of Night City in his 30s. But he is a poor man controlled by a mysterious organization. Even one's own memory, thoughts, and even personality are controlled, and life is monitored. Yifei has guessed more than once who is behind the scenes controlling Jefferson. It may be the company, or it may be the Mr. Blue Eyes who entrusted V to rob the Crystal Palace in the King of the City finale. Thank you for listening to me about this seemingly ridiculous dream, and for doing those things with me in Cheomong. Lucy looked at Yifei who was sitting beside her calmly. At this time, her heart was full of peace, without the uneasy emotions before. Everyone has their own dreams. I think your dream is cool too, don't you? And you even went to the moon for free. I thank you before it's too late. Hearing Yifei's words, Lucy also showed a heartfelt smile, drank the remaining beer in one gulp, stood up and walked up to the attic. Yifei knew that since Lucy was willing to tell him her dream of going to the moon, her heart had opened to him. Then he lay down on the sofa and fell asleep. After all, he had an appointment with Jack tomorrow to buy some equipment. Early in the morning, Yifei woke up after feeling the sunlight. The first thing Yifei did when he got up in the morning was to use his own operating system to place an order online to buy some eggs, bread, and milk. Well, they are all made of healthy ingredients, and this meal cost 500 euros. You must know that a good meal at those street stalls is estimated to be less than 10 euros. Yifei just bought some pollution-free eggs and already bought 400 euros, and the remaining 100 euros are the quality of the purchase. Nice bread and milk. The robot delivered it very quickly, and it was delivered to Yifei's balcony in less than 20 minutes. After spending a little time making 3 breakfasts, Yifei sat directly in the place with the best lighting in the entire apartment. Yifei's whole body has been bathed in the sun, fully absorbing the energy that the sun brings to him. Yifei, are you basking in the sun again? V is not surprised to see this scene. After all, V knows that Yifei has become stronger in the sun. Well, V, why don't you have some breakfast first? I made it fresh, there is still in the refrigerator. Do you still make breakfast? I want to taste it. V was also a little surprised. After all, she had lived with Yifei for more than 10 years, and this was the first time Yifei cooked her breakfast. However, in the homeless camp, they usually eat those high-tech synthetic meatloaf and bread, which tastes justified. There is nothing more to say about the taste. First, he took a bite of the steaming bread, and then looked at the fried eggs that were golden in color and exuding aroma, and V picked them up with his chopsticks and ate them. Although it is not overly complicated, the natural aroma of non-polluted eggs and Yifei's proper seasoning make this simple scrambled eggs the best delicacy V has ever tasted. I didn't expect you to have such a hand. From now on, we will let you take care of our family's meals. Okay. After hearing what V said, Yifei didn't recommend it. All the cooking videos he watched in his previous life were all classic favorites, and then the videos were left in the favorites and never came out again. However, after Yifei activates his super brain, he can remember all kinds of things clearly, whether it is this life or the previous life, and those cooking videos are like replaying them in front of his eyes. He doesn't want to eat those unsafe food stalls outside. His previous life was full of technology. In this cyberpunk world, maybe the meat sausage is full of starch. Lucy also came down from upstairs at this time, and saw V wolfing down at the dining table. Lucy, are you awake? Come, try Yifei's breakfast, I can guarantee that this is the best thing you have ever eaten. V saw Lucy beckoning Lucy to sit down in front of the dining table. Stop doing this and that, and eat. Seeing Lucy's hesitation, V picked up some eggs with Lucy's chopsticks and stuffed them into Lucy's mouth. Okay, it's delicious. Is this a pollution-free egg? Lucy was a little surprised as she chewed the eggs that were soft and tasted just right. At the same time, I feel a little embarrassed. After all, she has occasionally browsed the non-polluting vegetables and ingredients on the internet, and each of these things, even if it costs a little to make a meal, is already worth what she has spent in a day or two. Meal bill. It's okay, as long as you like it, we can make more money in the future. Yifei believes that money is not saved but earned. After the breakfast episode, Yifei and V took Lucy and went out. About half an hour later, the three of Yifei appeared in Misty's shop. Jack was sitting on the full-body chair in Misty's shop enjoying Misty's massage. Jack, you seem to be in a good mood. Did you complete the commission last time? Hey, Misty, I made a lot of money on that order last time. Come closer and I'll tell you how much I made. Although Jack said that he wanted to tell Misty how much he earned, the smirk on his face had already revealed his thoughts. Hey, Jack, what are you doing? When Misty was about to kiss Jack, Yifei shouted loudly on purpose. I'll go. Yifei, don't bring such grudges. Jack was taken aback at first, and was about to get angry and teach this ignorant guy a lesson, when he looked up and saw Yifei. Forget it, you can't afford to mess with the big guy who tore apart the cyber mental illness. What's the grudge? Didn't you let us come here to install the prosthetic body? Yifei pretending to be confused made Jack's teeth itch with hatred, but Yifei didn't know Misty either, so Jack had nothing to say. Okay, I'm afraid of you. There is a step down by the back door, you can go directly to Dr. Victor inside. Jack now only hopes that Yifei will leave quickly so as not to disturb himself and Misty making out. Without saying anything, Yifei walked to the place that he was very familiar with. You are the ones introduced by Jack, right? Come and sit down, and tell me what kind of prosthetic body you want to install. A familiar voice sounded, and Yifei remembered how much Victor took care of V in the game. First, he installed a military-grade first-order cross-leg prosthetic eye for V for free, and then Victor also selflessly helped V in the subsequent plots. It can be said that Victor simply treats V as his own child, which is not to mention how rare it is in this cyberpunk world. Victor was not surprised to see the three of Yifei. Jack had already greeted him yesterday. I don't need a prosthesis, V, Lucy, you two, let's see what you want to install. Are you kidding? Yifei himself is the scariest weapon, installing a prosthetic body. What do you want Yifei to install? It's not that Yifei looks down on these prosthetic bodies, even with his current strength, the 5th-tier military-grade prosthetic body with the most terrifying increase should not even try to compete with him. Yifei could feel this very clearly. Victor, I want to know what kind of prosthetic body you have here. Hearing V's question like this, Victor took out his good stuff. The 2nd-level Crossroads prosthetic eye is 3000 ohms, and the 3rd-level subcutaneous armor is 6000 ohms. I think if you just install the prosthetic body, you only need to install these two things. Wait until you get used to it later. There is still time to install these prosthetic bodies. After hearing what Victor said, Yifei also nodded slightly. Victor said the truth. Although V's prosthetic body installation almost reached the point of mechanical ascension in the game, Yifei knew very well that it was all because of the relic chip. The current V is just an ordinary person, and it is not suitable to install too many prosthetic bodies at once. V, I also think it's fine for you to install these prosthetic bodies for the time being, and it's just right for the commissions we can receive now. Okay, then I'll install these two prosthetic bodies first. Although V doesn't really understand the details of installing a prosthetic body, she knows that there are some things that she understands, and she doesn't understand, especially when it comes to these things. Don't think that you know more than professionals. So, what would you like to add, lady? Seeing that V agreed, Victor turned to look at Lucy, who was standing aside. Me, sorry, I don't think I have enough money to install a prosthetic body. Lucy immediately waved her hands when she heard Victor's inquiry. Although she has a little savings now, she can't afford the cost of adding prostheses at all. V just installed 2 prostheses and it cost 9,000 euros. She doesn't know how many chips she will steal for this money to arrive. Don't worry, your consumption today is regarded as the reward I paid you in advance, and I will deduct it directly after you finish the task. Yifei patted his chest and said, although he only has 20,000 yuan left now, he can still install a better prosthetic body for Lucy. Yeah, it's okay for Lucy. If Yifei doesn't have enough money, I'll help you. Seeing that Lucy was still hesitant, V also persuaded her. Then I want a chip that can speed up the cracking. After much hesitation, Lucy still felt that it was necessary to install a prosthetic body. After all, it has been nearly 10 years since she escaped from the institution, and the chips and nervous system on her body have been out of date. Most of the time before, she relied on her computing power to figure out the weaknesses of other people's programs. Okay, how about you look at this? Parallel line of military technology. Although it is not the best network access chip on the market, it also has multitasking capabilities. As long as you have a basic hacking foundation, you can quickly adapt to use. Then this chip. By the way, Dr. Victor, please give me one too. Although I don't have a prosthetic body, I can still click on the chip. Okay, here are 2 parallel wires, you just need to insert them into your own card slots to use them. After finishing speaking, Victor put the 2 chips on the table. This is the first time we have cooperated. I will charge you 19,000 euros. As for the cost of installing the prosthetic body, you don't need it. Because Lucy and Yifei only needed a chip, they didn't need Victor to modify them, so they went to Misty's shop and waited for Victor to modify V's prosthetic body. Oh, Yifei, you two don't need Victor to modify the prosthetic body. Seeing Yifei and Lucy walking out of Victor's clinic so quickly, Jack said with some doubts. Yifei replied, Lucy is a hacker and I just need to replace a better operating system. I don't need to modify the prosthetic body. V chose a subcutaneous armor and a second-order crossroads prosthetic eye. It is estimated that it will be installed soon. All right. That's it, whatever you want. Have you received any commission? No, but the priest has issued a big order, are you interested? Jack glanced at his message panel, but he didn't see any other intermediaries entrusting him, but he saw an entrustment sent by the priest. Oh, tell me about it. A man named Sally Will's son was kidnapped by the Maelstrom gang half an hour ago. He asked all the middlemen to tell us these mercenaries that he would pay 40,000 for the order to rescue his son. Yifei also nodded when he heard the reward of 40,000 euros. Don't look at them earning 200,000 after a wave of cheating, but it is basically impossible to copy it. After all, no matter how lucky they are, it is impossible to find the first one. 2 red lizards. Okay, we'll take this order, and we'll go after V is refitted. Yifei, where are we going to find this son? He was just kidnapped. Jack scratched his head and said, after all, the Maelstrom gang must have kidnapped the rich man's son to extort a sum of money. How could it be so easy to find someone? Say you're stupid, let me ask you, the Whirlpool helped those people catch a cash cow, should we protect it? Jack nodded in agreement. Then shouldn't they be placed where they are best defended? Yeah, How do I know where their best defense is? Isn't their old den, the Whole Foods factory, the best place to defend? Yifei is really speechless. Jack really doesn't like to use his brain. Even if V disagrees with him in the game, Jack can immediately accept it and follow suit. It can be seen that Jack really likes to fight. You put this point on other characters. As long as V makes a move or is discovered, they will curse before going into battle. It's also Ha Yifei. Hearing Jack's words, Yifei also knew that Jack probably understood what he meant, so he simply ignored Jack. He started to tinker with the military parallel cable that had just been put into his chip slot. Looking at the operation panel with a lot of data jumping, Yifei felt a little dazzled, but he could still see it. Lucy, who was sitting on a chair beside her, was replacing her own system and hadn't adjusted it yet. In less than 2 minutes, Yifei had thoroughly eaten the operating system. Turning on the scanning mode and looking at the street, Yifei found that Victor seemed to have sent them an NCPD backdoor system to see some tasks issued by NCPD. Glancing at the vending machine at the entrance of Misty's shop, the data in Yifei's eyes jumped quickly, and a bottle of carbonated drink popped out of the vending machine. Is this so convenient to operate? Yifei just felt that with a little manipulation, the vending machine was breached by himself, and then he chose a bottle of lemon-flavored drink at random and returned it. Lucy, on the other hand, has just debugged her own system. Lucy, is your system debugged? As Yifei said, he handed a small bottle of company cola to Lucy. Well, it took some time to replace and debug the data, but I'm almost used to it. Lucy turned out to be the Coke in Yifei's hand. She quite liked drinking these carbonated drinks. What about you, Yifei? Can you operate the system well? Lucy asked after taking a sip of her drink. Me, I feel that I have adapted to this program without much debugging the system. You are too reckless, let me check it for you. Lucy frowned when she heard Yifei's words. Even a senior hacker like her had to debug it for about 10 minutes. How could Yifei, who has never installed a hacking system, be able to debug it so quickly? Pull out a connecting cable from the palm of your hand and plug it into the excuse of Yifei's neck. Yifei didn't resist and just stood there for Lucy to check. Huh, is it really all debugged? Let's check it again. Lucy was a little surprised when she saw the data in front of her that couldn't find any loopholes. To be honest, she checked Yifei's hacking system and found no data loopholes, but she looked at it again with some worries. It didn't take a minute for Lucy to disconnect herself from Yifei. Yifei, the system you debugged doesn't even have any bugs. Lucy looked at Yifei very puzzled and said, to be honest, even the systems debugged by the real master hackers in network monitoring cannot have any loopholes, and half of the network monitoring will install many traps for the loopholes in their data systems to prevent other hackers from catching them. Burned the brain clean. But Yifei just let her check the system at will without reservation. Lucy brushed these systems very quickly without any obstruction. As a result, instead of having any loopholes in Yifei's system, she was prevented from checking Yifei's system. I noticed some deficiencies and loopholes in my system. It's nothing, I just debugged it casually, and there are some loopholes in their chip written from the data panel, which I directly optimized. Yifei said somewhat pretendingly, although he didn't mean that but just expounded the facts. Lucy, would you like me to show you your system? Hearing Yifei's words, although Lucy's face was a bit uneasy, she couldn't refuse a hacking system without loopholes. After all, no hacker wants to be counterattacked and burn his brain when he hacks into the system. Okay, then help me take a look. As Lucy spoke, she revealed the small hole next to her neck. Ah, Lucy, I don't have a connection cable, so why don't you use your connection cable to connect with me? Hearing Yifei's words, Lucy also unambiguously pulled out the cable from her palm and connected it with Yifei. It's just that before Lucy changed the forward input to reverse, Yifei was already checking her system. Well, here, and here, huh. This place is amazing, and there is actually a small back door left by network surveillance. In Yifei's eyes, the data flowed rapidly, and within a few minutes, Yifei refreshed Lucy's system and modified the data by the way. Okay, Lucy, you check your data. After Yifei patched up all the system loopholes for Lucy, she disconnected. And Lucy has begun to doubt her life now, because of the connection. In Lucy's eyes, Yifei entering her system is just like entering her own home, and is looking for loopholes while modifying loopholes during the modification process. She even found a backdoor left by network surveillance that she didn't notice at all. It's good that this thing is not connected. If it is discovered during the hacking stage and then anti-hacking, the other party can directly overload her brain. No need, Yifei. Lucy's failure to check does not mean that she fully trusts Yifei, but because of the connection. Yifei's operation. She knows that except for pulling out the back door of network monitoring, Yifei has been working outside her system from beginning to end. There is no chance to insert loopholes. Yifei connects her to write the program as if she is writing it herself. Naturally, I know that the system Yifei writes is completely different from his own system. Yifei even designed a system that fits her usage habits according to Lucy's previous habit of debugging the system. Yifei, you really haven't done any hacking-related work before. To be honest, Lucy really couldn't hold back anymore. If Yifei simply copied her own system to Lucy, Lucy wouldn't be so shocked. After all, it is acceptable to set up a system according to her own habits. What makes Lucy unacceptable is that Yifei fills in the loopholes while customizing a system that meets her operating habits according to her previous system habits. Not to mention the top mercenary hackers in Night City, even supervisor-level tasks in network surveillance are impossible. No, today was the first time I went to write and modify the system. Yifei's tone was casual and ordinary, as simple as going to buy a bottle of drink and opening the bottle cap. Yifei, what kind of hacking system are you two tinkering with over there? What's the use of it? Jack looked at Yifei and Lucy from the side, spoke a few words in succession and then started to connect again, which was also a bit confused. Hey, why can't I keep using my hands? Immediately, Jack felt that his palm was raised uncontrollably and pinched his nose. That's how it's done. After Jack's hand returned to normal, Yifei said. I'll go. Yifei never tried his own brother for the first time. Jack said with lingering fear, the feeling that his limbs don't listen to him is really terrible. Come on, I'm just giving a brief demonstration. If I think about it, your brain is already a mess. Yifei said jokingly. Lucy has nothing else to say now, anyway, she really has never seen such a hacker. Half of the time, their hackers can at most short-circuit other people's prosthetic bodies. The operation of directly manipulating other people's prosthetic bodies like Yifei is simply a fantasy. Yifei, how did you manage to manipulate someone else's prosthetic body? I don't know how to tell. Anyway, I can control his operating system all the way. Yifei really couldn't explain that feeling. Anyway, he just used his thinking to break through all the way and then he was able to control the prosthetic body. However, this kind of operation Yifei can't be operated by multiple people. After all, the amount of calculation is still very large. It is still very difficult to rely on his undeveloped super brain at this stage. If we let him bask in the sun for one more month, maybe Yifei can realize multi-line operation and multi-person prosthesis. At this stage, all the energy of the sun that Yifei absorbs is given priority to Yifei's body, and the brain can only divide it to a fraction. Although the hacker flow in the game is very cool, with a large number of small soldiers in black and black, Yifei prefers the feeling of punching to the flesh. After all, Superman's battles are won by crushing, and the installation of this hacking system is just Yifei's whim, and it doesn't have much meaning. After all, even if the network is infected, it will take time to crack the program of the prosthetic body. It is estimated that even Yifei's speed in solving those people may not be comparable. Yifei and the others continued to wait for more than 10 minutes, and then received a message from Victor. V, how are you feeling now? Is there anything uncomfortable? Although Victor tried his best to use painless anesthesia to replace the prosthetic body, he did not rule out some cases of rejection of the prosthetic body. Well, I don't feel anything unusual. Okay, then you can try to scan it with the prosthetic eye of Lucy I installed. After Victor finished speaking, V began to scan the surroundings. Kangtao Computer, General Electronic Products. Single quote. Victor, the prosthetic doctor. As long as the objects scanned by V will basically display basic information. All go. Victor, you are really amazing. It was the first time to use this convenient prosthetic body V and couldn't help but praise Victor. Hehe, It's good that you can get used to it. Victor's voice still makes people feel very comfortable, unhurried. Dr. Victor, your technique is so good, I can't even see any traces after installing the subcutaneous armor. V raised his arm and turned around to look at himself, but there was not even a trace of transformation. Hee, if I don't reform you well, wouldn't I be sorry for Jack's trust in bringing you here? That's what I said, but to be honest, there are basically no prosthetic doctors who have painless transformation techniques and hide the appearance of the transformation. If these other prosthetic doctors don't charge a few €1,000 more, it is impossible, and there are not many doctors in Night City who have this kind of technology. If you meet a guy like Brother Finger, it will be good if you don't get dizzy and sell your valuables. For example, the anime David that Yifei had watched before was completely reinvented. V, have you remodeled? You don't have any marks on your body. Yifei walked up to V's side and looked up and down, basically no difference from before. Poor favor please, Victor is one of the best prosthetic doctors in Night City, and there are probably few in the Arasaka Tower who can compare to him. Jack said confidently. Don't flatter me, Jack, I won't charge you less if you want to modify the prosthetic body later. Victor sat on the chair and said modestly, wiping his sweat. V, now that you're ready, let's go to Whole Foods and talk to the boss of the Maelstrom gang. Yifei and the others chose to take the public light rail, while Jack chose to ride his little arch motorcycle worth €25 million. Hey, Yifei, V and Lucy. Oh, yes, Lucy, how do we get in now? After Jack finished speaking, Yifei disappeared in the same place and reappeared in less than 20 seconds. After seeing it, we should only be able to break through from the front. When Yifei said that, he had already sent the terrain around the factory to Jack and the others. In addition to the main entrance is the underground passage. Yifei didn't want to be in the backstage of those machines, who knew if these remodelers from the Whirlpool gang had cleaned those places. Jack, V, you enter through the warehouse door below. Lucy, you support Jack and V remotely outside. I will go to their main entrance and have fun with them. Yifei briefly talked about his plan, and they started to act without any objection. Hey, who are you? Don't you know the territory of our Maelstrom gang here? When Yifei walked to the door, he ran into a guy with prosthetic eyes all over his head, who looked very disgusting. Who am I? I'm Yi. After Yifei finished speaking, he raised the guy with one hand and smashed it towards the rolling door of the Whirlpool gang. Boom! All of a sudden, a big hole was smashed into the door of the Whirlpool gang. Who doesn't have a good eye and dares to make trouble in the territory of our Whirlpool gang? Let me see which smoothie dares to act wild here. The little brother of the Whirlpool gang, who was playing cards in the factory, immediately went into a state of alert when he saw a big hole in his door was smashed. Yifei walked into the processing factory and saw the younger brothers of the Whirlpool gang inside, and immediately felt a little nauseous. There are those who transform the legs, those who transform the whole head, and those who make a big hole in the chest and transform them into machines. I really don't know what taste these guys have. Where is your boss? Let him hand him over. Yifei's arrogant appearance immediately enraged the younger brothers of the Whirlpool gang who were present. How old are you? How dare an unreformed little fool be so arrogant? In an instant, all the younger brothers of the Whirlpool gang raised their guns and started shooting wildly. For a while, the bullets kept flying in the factory, and the bullets hit the ground and walls, and a large cloud of dust was stirred up. Stop! One of the guys with the mohawk hair that looked like the boss ordered. HMPH, this is the fate of offending our Whirlpool gang. Haha, I don't believe anyone can survive with this kind of firepower. And Yifei was standing on the ceiling beam and sneered. Then a large data panel appeared in front of him. Well, it's all the prosthetic body control data of these prosthetic body transformation maniacs of the Uzumaki gang. Then, I'll have fun with you. Yifei showed a little evil smile. Chapter 21. After Yifei glanced around, he saw a person standing at the end of the Whirlpool gang, holding a small pistol. An operation panel appeared in front of him and directly hacked into the person's prosthetic body. Originally, the little brother of the Maelstrom gang was celebrating with other people for killing a guy who didn't know how to live or die, but he didn't notice that his hand was pointing a gun at a person beside him. Boom! After a gunshot, a member of the Maelstrom gang fell to the ground. What are you doing, Colin? Seeing the brother lying motionless on the ground, the other members of the Maelstrom gang were stunned and then cursed at Colin, who shot. "You've taken too much medicine, haven't you? Ricky, Ricky." But while these Whirlpool boys were still cursing, Colin raised his pistols and fired wildly. Boom, boom, boom. Several consecutive gunshots were fired at another boy from the Whirlpool gang who was not far from Kaylin. "Kill this guy. I guess he's already suffering from cyberpsychosis." The little leader of the Maelstrom gang raised his gun and shot at Colin, who was still in a daze. The members of the Whirlpool gang are also unequivocal. Although they are all keen to transform themselves, they also know that the reformers have experienced cyber mental illness. So they now treat Colin as a cyber lunatic who has already suffered from cyber psychosis. When Colin was still in a daze, countless bullets had passed through his body, and he was shot dead without even having enough time to explain. What a bad luck. Clyde, the little boss, looked at the 4 people who had lost their vitality on the ground, and spat and cursed. "Butcher, move Colin's corpses outside." Casually commanding a little brother beside him, Clyde walked towards the place where Yifei was just standing and being shot by them. He had an ominous premonition. But Booker's arm next to him suddenly ejected a team of rusty mantis knives, slashing towards Clyde. "Clyde, behind you." A younger brother of the Maelstrom gang reminded that Clyde himself was in a state of mental tension, and upon hearing this warning, he immediately threw himself to the ground. After rolling twice, Clyde raised his head with an ugly face and looked at Butcher, who had been hacked into the ground with a mantis knife. "You're also suffering from cyberpsychosis, aren't you?" "No, Clyde, my hands don't work now." As soon as Butcher finished speaking, the mantis knife in his arm swung at Clyde again. Seeing the messy Whirlpool gang below, Yifei was delighted. He didn't expect the hacking system installed on a whim today to be so interesting. After a while of fighting, Clyde finally felt something was wrong. He has killed 9 of his subordinates so far, all because their boss kidnapped a rich son and transferred elites from various Whirlpool gang factories. Although it can't be said to be a high-level combat power, it can be regarded as relatively capable of fighting among the minions. As a result, all of a sudden, the prosthetic bodies went crazy and attacked as if they had collectively suffered from cyber psychosis. Clyde looked around, and finally found Yifei smiling happily on the beams of their factory. "Got you." Clyde picked up his kinetic revolver and aimed it at Yifei. Then Clyde was about to pull the trigger. Yifei turned to look at him as if sensing something. Then he opened his mouth to say something, and the pistol in Clyde's hand turned around, aiming at his own head. "No." Clyde gritted his teeth, but he had already pulled the trigger. Snapped. In an instant, the red liquid mixed with some black and white mixture flowed on the ground. Seeing this scene, the chaotic little brothers of the Whirlpool gang went into a complete riot, and they all wanted to escape from this space one after another. It seems that there are ghosts who can control them in this small factory, making their people kill each other. Now even their little leader has committed suicide, and these little brothers of the Maelstrom gang have never blamed this chaos on cyber psychosis. Yifei, who was just discovered, hid in a more hidden corner to manipulate all this. After a while, a wall of the factory suddenly exploded. A guy wearing a half-baked exoskeleton armor rushed into the factory building. "Boys, kill these 2 guys who dare to invade our Swirl gang territory." Because of the dust scattered in the small space after smashing through the wall before his eyes, Laika didn't see the little brother who had all fallen to the ground for the first time, so he still gave orders. "Today is the end of your 2 days. Bu Laika raised his head and was about to speak harshly, when he saw a group of Uzumaki gang boys who all fell to the ground. "It's impossible. Who did it?" Bu Laika, who was forced back to this factory by V and Jack, suddenly fell from heaven to hell. This is his last straw, and now he is being taken over by someone. V and Jack, who were chasing and killing Bulaika, also came from the wall that Bulaika crashed through and saw the scene in front of them. "All go. Yifei, is this guy so fierce?" The perspective returns to V and Jack. "V, do you think Yifei can handle so many reformers from the Maelstrom gang?" Jack asked hesitantly. Although he believes in Yifei's strength, what Yifei has to face is not a single cyber lunatic, but the Vortex gang, who has an absolute superiority in numbers. Each of these guys is a perverted transformation fanatic, and most of them want the prosthetic doctor to modify their appearance as much as possible. These perverts of the Maelstrom gang are different. they just like prosthetic bodies with exaggerated appearance. The more they look like normal people, the happier they are. This also brings about the powerful combat ability of those prosthetic bodies, and the firepower of the guns in their hands is not comparable to those street gangsters who are doing small things. After all, Yi Fei is still a body of flesh and blood. If he is hit by a bullet, he will probably be seriously injured. Mollisuert, we shouldn't let Yi Fei face so many Maelstrom boys alone. Jack, what Yi Fei asked us to do is to find that son. Let's complete the mission first and then help him. The faster we complete the task, the faster we can go to support Yi Fei. Although V is also worried about Yi Fei, but now Yi Fei is the leader of the team, and V, who was a homeless person before, knows that no matter what he does, he can't hinder the leader's arrangement. Since Yi Fei arranged for her and Jack to find someone, it must be someone who has his own grasp to drag the people of the Whirlpool gang. Lucy, there are 3 Maelstrom guards in front of us, see if there is any ambush. V hides around the corner and secretly observes a small room ahead of them. Besides the 3 men, there are 3 mines and an automatic machine gun. At this time, Lucy has already hacked into the monitoring and security system of the Whole Foods factory through a computer connected to the mainframe in the Maelstrom gang before V. I'll go, put an automatic machine gun in this inconspicuous place, the rich man must be here. Jack complained when he heard the information given by Lucy. Don't worry, I've already hacked into 3 landmines, and now they are our helpers. Although the machine gun didn't hack into the core system, it's no problem for him to be scrapped. Hacking these gadgets is now much easier for Lucy because of the new hacking system that Yi Fei has commissioned. Good job, Lucy. V didn't hesitate when he heard the news. He picked up the pistol in his hand and shot a boy of the Uzumaki gang who was standing guard. This place is invaded. Go tell Boss Bolika. One of the younger brothers saw that the person next to him had been headshot, and immediately fell behind the bunker and shouted to the whirlpool near the door to help the younger brother. The little boy ran to the door when he heard the order. Unexpectedly, an accident happened when passing by the mines I installed. Boom. After the loud noise, only one arm remained in place. Isn't this the mine we planted? How could it blow up our people? What happened? Bolika yelled as he heard the explosion outside the room and opened the door. Boss, our side has been invaded. I don't know how many people there are. The mines seem to be controlled by them. These fools. Bolika cursed. Brat, your dad is not honest. How dare you find someone to mess with me? Bolika scolded the rich man who was tied to a chair and stripped naked. Boom, boom. Just as Laika was about to run away with the cash cow, 2 gunshots came from outside the door. Then the door behind him that had already been locked by his information suddenly opened. It was Lucy who hacked into the security system and gave V and Jack permission to open the door. Oncoming bullets from V and Jack. Put that guy down. Jack saw the stripped naked people around Bolika and knew that this was their goal this time. V and Jack stopped shooting at the same time. After all, their mission this time was to save people. Get out of here. Bolika cursed angrily, then picked up a remote control and pressed it fiercely, and then dragged Sally Saxon, the mission objective, to escape to the door behind him. Run. There is a communication bomb in this room. I can't control it. Lucy's warning voice came, and V and Jack chased in the direction of Bolika. The moment they ran out of the room, Lucy quickly closed the door remotely. Boom. A huge explosion blasted the door open at once. It is conceivable that if Lucy did not close the door control in time, even if V and Jack were not killed on the spot, they would probably lose half of their skin. Thanks, Lucy. Chica, sister, you were amazing. The voices of V and Jack sounded at the same time, which made Lucy, who was not far from the Whole Foods processing plant, smile slightly. It's a small matter. You feel like chasing Laika. I saw from the surveillance that he seems to have entered a warehouse curry. I will send you the map right now. As soon as Lucy finished speaking, a general route appeared in front of V and Jack. V and Jack also went straight to the room not far from them without any hesitation. Baby, now I can use you. Bolika looked excitedly at the guy he paid a lot of money for and said. It was a battle-scarred exoskeleton. After speaking, Bolika quickly put on the exoskeleton armor he bought from a military company. Maybe it was used in a certain battle, but the appearance of this exoskeleton armor is all traces left by the battle. Some places that should have weapons are also missing, and there should be some weapons that have not been released on the market. It's just that even so, Leica spent 50,000 euros to buy this armor, which is almost a month's food expenses for hundreds of Vortex gangs. In the cyberpunk world, those high-tech synthetic foods are very cheap. And you have to buy other weapons by yourself. As soon as Leica puts on the armor, he sees V and Jack rushing to the warehouse. Haha, you fool, I'll let you taste the power of my big baby. After speaking, the heavy machine gun in Leica's hand began to shoot wildly. Mollisuert, where did this guy get this thing? Hurry up and hide. Jack also occasionally saw the combat robot of the NCPD when the terrorist mobile team on the street was performing official duties, but it was just a robot, and it was completely different from the armor on Leica. V, don't worry, I'm hacking into his system right now. Under Leica's ferocious firepower, V and Jack were relieved to hear Lucis' words. Come on, come on, come on, let you taste my strength. If you dare to mess with our whirlpool to help you, you will be beaten into a sieve. Leica saw that Shendu was a little crazy at this time, and the side effects of the exoskeleton armor were greater than those of the uprising body, although the side effects of this set of exoskeleton armor were not as strong as those of the prosthetic King Kong used by David in the anime. But that's not something Leica, a guy who doesn't have time for inhibitors, can handle. As Leica was getting close to Jack's position, a burst of electricity started to run through his armor. Click, click. No matter how stupid Leica is at this time, he knows that V and the others must have a hacker helping them. He looked up and knocked down the surveillance cameras in the warehouse. If you want to say why the armor of military technology is so easy to hack, it is because the anti-hacking chip in their armor has been removed by them. V, he knocked out the monitor, but I've downloaded a virus into his armor, so it will be more difficult for him to behave. Thanks, Lucy. Leica felt as if his limbs had been poured with cement. After V and Jack received Lucis' news at this time, they also began to fight guerrilla warfare, relying on the bunker in the warehouse and began to shoot at Leica continuously. Leica can only barely hold off the attacks of V and Jack now. Leica looked at the wall, and he forced the exoskeleton into the wall. Boom, all go. Fei, is this guy so fierce? Jack looked at the whirlpools all over the floor and shouted in surprise to help the younger brother. Asshole. Leica's only life-saving straw was broken at this time, and the whole person fell into madness, and the younger brothers who fell here were all elite thugs in their various fields. Without these Maelstrom gangs' territory, at least half of it would be lost. Leica just raised the machine gun in his hand to shoot, and suddenly the feeling of being hacked and inconvenient to move came again. You treat me like a dead person. Fei broke into the exoskeleton armor program the moment he saw Leica. Now, the exoskeleton armor on Leica can do nothing but serve as a shackle. What did you do? Why can't I move now? Now Leica is completely restrained in place. Except for his head, which can move, other hands and feet are firmly fixed by the exoskeleton armor. If it wasn't for the hydraulic system of the exoskeleton armor to support him with this kind of weight, he wouldn't be able to move this thing at all. Jack, go and bring out the person our client wants. Fei jumped off the beam and stepped on the body of a boy from the Whirlpool gang. Looking at the guy in front of him whose face had been changed to only have a big mechanical eye, Fei felt sick. Jack ran back to the warehouse and Curry moved out the son who had passed out. Young master is different. Jack scanned the bodies of some of their goods, with his cross-optics prosthetic eye, and found that he was covered with some high-end goods. It's a pity that they are all everyday versions, not suitable for fighters like him. But Jack immediately scanned the bodies of these Vortex gang boys who fell on the ground. All go. These guys' weapons are all good stuff. The weapons and equipment of military technology all over the floor and the prosthetic bodies of these Vortex gang boys, although these are not worth a lot of money in the game, but in reality, collecting all the weapons can also be sold for a good price. Especially for the armor on Leica, there are plenty of middlemen who can afford it. Search all these guys' weapons and equipment. Jack, you should know who you can sell them to, right? Hey, I don't know anything else, but I know a lot of people. Don't worry, everything here can be sold at a good price, especially that big guy. To be honest, although the appearance of the exoskeleton armor is full of bullet marks, it does not affect his secondary sales at all. To be honest, if it wasn't for Yifei and Lucy who just reinstalled the hacking system, this thing would definitely be a big killer in a frontal confrontation. Hearing Jack and Yifei talk about the things of their Maelstrom gang as their own, Laika roared angrily, "You guys! The Maelstrom gang will not let you idiot go." Boom. Too much nonsense. When Yifei heard Bu Laika's words, he didn't bother to say anything to him, so he raised his hand and shot him to see God. Maybe to meet Satan. It doesn't matter anymore. V, you should not be injured. Yifei walked to V's side and asked with concern. Although V had just installed Tier 3 subcutaneous armor on Victor's side, it didn't mean he wanted to see V get hurt. "I'm not hurt." Lucy hacked into the Maelstrom gang's system and broke through all the traps. V shook his head to indicate that he was not injured. But they probably have other good stuff in curry. V took Yifei into the warehouse of the Maelstrom gang. After scanning around, V only saw a box containing some prosthetic plugins. However, since Yifei does not need prosthetics, these prosthetic plugins are a pile of scrap iron for him. "I can only give V, Lucy, and Jack their favorite plugins, and sell the rest for money." Well, apart from the employer's commission, the income from selling those weapons and equipment and these prosthetic body plugins is probably another terrible figure. Walking outside with the box, Lucy and Jack, who had packed the weapons and detachable prosthetic body, were already waiting there. "What do you say? Has this exoskeleton armor been contacted to a buyer?" "I got in touch. They are members of the 6th Street gang. They are on their way here. They have also packed all the weapons and equipment, and the price has been negotiated." Yifei nodded. Jack's work efficiency was still very good, and then he put the box full of prosthetic plugins on the table. "There are prosthetic body plugins here, Lucy and Jack, you two can choose some that you can use." Lucy and Jack heard Yifei's words, walked to the box and took a look. "We can make a lot of money this time." Looking at the box full of prosthetic body plugins, he picked out the prosthetic body plugins with metal plating, knuckle physical damage, and a fighting rage with 3 blue shells. "I'll just take these. There is no prosthesis plugin suitable for me." Unlike Jack, who picked his favorite prosthetic body plugin, Lucy didn't see a prosthetic body plugin that was beneficial to her hacking activities. That's right, after all, out of 100 people from the Maelstrom gang, there can't be 2 hackers, and the prosthetic body plugins must be bought for prosthetic body plugins that are useful for combat. About an hour later, a man wearing a cowboy hat and dressed like a cowboy walked into the Whole Foods factory, saw the Maelstrom gang boys lying on the ground, and the lifeless cloth Laika standing in the middle of the exoskeleton armor. He couldn't help swallowing. Even a veteran like him who had participated in the war couldn't help but be shocked by the scene in front of him. "You belong to the 6th Street gang, Steven, right? Here, this is the exoskeleton armor you want to buy and these weapons, so let someone come in and take them away." Jack's words brought Steven back from the shock to reality, and he went to the exoskeleton armor to check it. There was nothing wrong with it except for a little more bullet holes. As for those firearms, he only needs to scan them with his prosthetic eyes to know whether they are good or bad. "Okay, I've checked all these. The price you negotiated with the boss is 40,000 euros for the exoskeleton armor. I'll give you 5,000 euros for these dozens of better quality rifles." After Steven finished speaking, he was about to transfer money to Jack. No, Yifei is our boss, just transfer it to him." Jack waved his finger and pointed to Yifei beside him and said. Steven frowned. After all, Jack, a burly man with a thick face, was more like the guy who could solve the Whirlpool gang. Although Yifei is not the kind of thin and slender, but because of his handsome appearance, he looks a little harmless to humans and animals. But this has nothing to do with Steven, and he doesn't care who the money is transferred to. Seeing the 45,000 euros already in the account, Yifei nodded. Then Steven called the younger brother who came with him to throw down the cloth Laika on the exoskeleton armor, and remove the exoskeleton armor and weapons. From the shocked eyes of these 6th Street gang boys, it is not difficult to see that Yifei and the others will definitely become popular because of this battle of the Maelstrom gang, and they will become a hot mercenary team. It took less than half an hour for Yifei and the others to leave. A few figures parked the car outside the Whole Foods processing plant. Man, are you sure those perverts from the Maelstrom gang will bring that rich boy here? Dorio said with some doubts. If you don't come to their lair, is it going to a high-end apartment? Man said confidently. Ah, it doesn't matter what, anyway, I just want to shoot now. Rebecca said while sitting in the back seat of the car, stroking the rifle in her hand. Rebecca is waiting for you to have a chance to shoot. Chiwei, let's go in and negotiate with the Maelstrom gang, and you will hack into their security system outside. Okay. When Man and the others entered the Whole Foods processing plant with their own weapons in their hands, they were immediately taken aback by the hellish scene inside. Why are these guys all dead? And this, Bo Laika, the boss of the Maelstrom gang, is also dead. Man looked at the people of the Maelstrom gang on the ground who had already lost their vitality and knew that they were late this time. It's a waste of time. Man, the security system of the Whole Foods processing plant seems to have been destroyed in a mess. I haven't even cracked it, and basically hacked in all the way. Chiwei, who was outside, didn't know what was going on in the Whole Foods processing factory, but just reported the abnormal situation she found. Everyone at Whole Foods is dead, we're late this time. Man said to Chiwei, who was waiting outside to hack into the system with an ugly expression. What? Someone is faster than us. Man, ask Chiwei to check the monitoring of the Whole Foods factory, there should be a video left. Dorio suggested. No, there's no need. Even if we now know who made the first move, it's useless. I think they've already left with them. Man scanned the body of the little brother of the Vortex gang on the ground, and found that he had been dead for nearly 3 hours, and he could walk back to Haywood for a job in 3 hours. Well, Jack, you did a good job this time. I have notified the employer, and I will pay you now. Beside a certain stadium of the Haywood Valentino gang, Father Sebastian looked at Yifei and the others with great satisfaction and said, Hey, Father, this time we were able to successfully rescue this kid only because of Yifei, he is the leader of our team. Jack scratched his head and said, he is not a person who likes to take credit for himself, after all, the biggest trouble for the Maelstrom gang must be the large number of thugs. Oh, is that so? It seems that Jack has found a good enough leader. The priest knew that Jack was not a liar. Although he was a little glib, he could still be trusted in these matters. Hi, my name is Sebastian, you can call me priest. Since Jack has joined your team, I will contact you in the future, this is my contact information. After the priest finished speaking, his eyes lit up, and then Yifei got the priest's contact information and the reward this time before his eyes. No problem, just come to us if you have any entrustment in the future. Yifei nodded. The relationship between the priest and the street boy V in the game is not bad, it can be regarded as a year-end friendship, but it is a pity that V here is a homeless person. Otherwise they should have had a better start. Coffee shop. This time we got paid a total of 85,000 euros, and each person was 21,250 euros. Yifei was about to transfer the money when he saw Lucy reach out her hand to signal him to stop. What's the matter? What's wrong with Lucy? No, I just want to say, Yifei, you deduct the money for buying the chip for me first and send it to me. Lucy shook her head and said, she is a person who distinguishes between public and private. Although she knows that Yifei may not pursue the money, she is not the kind of greedy person. Okay, then deduct the 5,000 euros for the chip, and transfer 16,250 euros to you, Lucy. Yifei did not refuse Lucy's request. Although he didn't care about the 5,000 euros, he also understood Lucy's heart. I just don't want to owe too much to other people. Thank you, Yifei. Lucy's eyes were a little excited. After all, if she wanted to steal chips and sell them, she didn't know how long it would take to earn the 16,000 euros. Small, we are a team. Yifei waved his hand. He didn't really care about this little money, although he doesn't have much money now, but he is Superman, will he be short of money in the future? In the worst case, go and have a friendly exchange with Saburo Arata and borrow him 100 million points to spend. Hey, the money is so cool, Yifei, should we go and have a little fun? Jack was full of excitement when he received the reward. In the past 2 days since he met Yifei, he has earned nearly 100,000 euros. This was something that Jack would never have imagined before. You must know that 100 euros in Night City is already a month or even 2 months of food expenses for many people. And now he has more than 60,000 euros left besides the 25,000 euros spent on buying his favorite motorcycle. This can be regarded as a relatively wealthy mercenary in Night City. The first step to getting money is of course to go chic. When Yifei heard that Jack said that he would take him to play, Yifei's eyes drifted a little, and then he glanced at V beside him. Yifei, just go and play with Jack, Lucy and I just went shopping in the mall. V naturally knew what Yifei was thinking. He gave him a blank look but still agreed with Yifei to go chic. Sure enough, women in any world will have the desire to shop, even people in Cyberpunk carry. Thinking of this, Yifei followed Jack away. Ritz Bar. Hey, Jack, it's been a long time since you came to the Ritz Bar to drink with our sisters. Who is this original handsome guy next to you? Why haven't I seen him? At the door, a pink-haired lady holding a baseball bat and piercing two ball heads saw Jack, first glanced at Jack provocatively and then saw Yifei beside him. Chica, sister, don't I want to make some money to come drink with you? This is my partner Yifei, he is very skilled. Jack smiled and put his hand on the girl's shoulder and said. You, go inside and drink, little handsome guy, next time you come here by yourself, sister will treat you well. The pink-haired lady hit Jack's chest with a baseball bat, and then looked up and down Yifei with somewhat ambiguous eyes and said. You must know that in this world where it is normal for everyone to install prostheses, there are very few men like Yifei who look like original products and look handsome. Yifei also took a look at this young lady who was often seen in the game. Well, unlike the image in the game where the skin is rough and has a lot of freckles, the young lady here has no freckles on her face, but is very fair and smooth. Except for the heavy makeup on her face, Yifei doesn't like it very much. She's already a beautiful woman. Okay, Yifei replied with a smile. Then it's settled, I wish you a happy time. The woman said with charming eyes. To be honest, although she has met a lot of men, it is really rare for a man like Yifei with a good face. The woman walked to the door and stepped out of the way. I will find you for a drink later. Jack turned around and said something, then took Yifei into the Ritz Bar, muttering while walking, Hi Yifei, look at what I said, a handsome man is just a fool. For example, me and you, did you see that chick just now? Seeing you and me, I wish I could pull you into the private room and have a big fight. If you want to, you may call her to her, maybe she will agree with my sister. Ahem, Jack, you seem to be talking too much, let's go to the bar. Seeing Jack chattering endlessly, Yifei coughed twice and looked at Jack speechlessly and said. Hey, I know, so what's the matter? You are Chinese, right? I understand that you Chinese are a bit reserved and shy, but you can't find a few chicks in Night City. Jack had a look of seeing through everything. In his opinion, although Chinese people are quite reserved, what do you want when you come to Night City? Yes, do as the Romans do. Yifei rested his forehead with his hands. He was not the type to meet and fall in love with each other, he preferred that kind of spiritual communication. Of course, he wouldn't refuse if he could come to the sports directly, but he is not blessed to accept those beauties who are too obviously modified. He prefers people like V, Lucy, Judy, Pannon. Ahem, that's a bit much. In short, he prefers beauties who look more natural. When Yifei entered the Ritz Bar, he felt that it was obviously different from the outside, and the deafening music stimulated people's mood. The men and women in the bar were twisting their bodies wantonly, and even ordered a bottle of champagne on the spot, shaking it wildly and spraying it directly on the dance floor of the bar. The people who were splashed were not angry, but opened their mouths to catch the champagne that was being sprayed. In the bar, there are also some serious-looking security guards in formal attire watching the bar to prevent people from making trouble in the bar or conducting transactions that they do not allow. Jack took Yifei to a booth not far from the bar counter, where the view was good enough to see those hot, scantily clad girls twisting their bodies. The Ritz Bar is also a place where many people who hang out in Night City like to hang out. There are delicious drinks that can make people forget their troubles, music that isolates all troubles from the outside world, and there are many programs that can mobilize human hormones. The main thing is that there are people in charge of security here. Many bars do not have formal security facilities, but the Ritz Bar does, so it is also a very good place to relax. Cheers to our cooperation and brotherhood. Jack held 2 bottles of beer and handed them to Yifei, and held them up high after Yifei got the beer. Respect friendship. After Yi Fei finished speaking, he drank a bottle of beer in one gulp, and Jack also drank all the beer in his hand. Welcome, you have really begun to become a part of this night city. Jack finished his beer and said loudly. Since I entered this night city, I have been. Yi Fei responded with a smile. I feel that our team will be able to do some great things that will shock the whole world in the future. Jack said confidently. Yi Fei smiled when he heard Jack's words, and then raised his hand to signal the waiter to continue serving the wine. When the waiter put the wine on Yi Fei's table, Yi Fei handed a bottle of beer to Jack. It's better to continue drinking after talking so much. Hey, are you underestimating me? My nickname is Little Whirlwind Drinking. I'm afraid of drinking. When Jack heard Yi Fei's words, he immediately refused to accept it. Since he was 10 years old, he has been secretly drinking in his mother's bar, and Jack has never been afraid of drinking with anyone. So the two began to compete in drinking capacity. Half an hour later, Yi Fei stood at the toilet door and glanced at the time. Well, Jack's been in there throwing up for like 5 minutes. No, Yi Fei, you are really a monster, I can't even blush even after I shouted. Yi Fei had just checked the time when he saw Jack walking out tremblingly holding on to the doorknob of the toilet, still mumbling something. Yi Fei rolled his eyes at him. Nonsense, you can get drunk with Superman's body. That kind of metabolic system beer has been broken down by Yi Fei's body system as soon as it is drunk. Not awesome anymore, Little Whirlwind. Hearing Yi Fei's words, Jack waved his hands again and again. No, I'm not Little Xuanfang, you are my brother, you are my own brother, okay. Then what are you going to say now? Jack rubbed his eyes hard and washed his face with water after hearing Yi Fei's words. I'll take you to meet a friend, maybe you'll be interested in what she has there. Okay, let me see what interests me. Hearing Jack's words, Yi Fei knew that Judy's wife, whom Yi Fei liked very much in the game, was about to appear, so she agreed immediately. Then follow me. Hey, the things here are guaranteed to make you happy. Jack led Yi Fei around and down the stairs, and after a while, he reached the basement floor. This is different from the bar above. There are only a few large servers in the entire basement and electronic equipment piled up all over the room. All the videos played on several computers. On the left-hand side of the door is a workbench full of Cheomung equipment. Sitting on the workbench is a beautiful woman. Jack, didn't I already give you a few good quality Mewtwo last time? Why did you get tired of it after a few days? A joking voice came. Ahem, I'm not here to ask for Cheomung this time. I'll bring a friend to meet you. Jack heard Judy say that he asked about Cheomung, coughed twice, pointed at Yi Fei and said. Jack, I should have said not to bring anyone here casually. Judy said with some dissatisfaction, then took off the Cheomung device he was carrying and looked at Jack. Judy, don't say that. There are many ways to know more friends. You know me. Since I can bring him to you, I think he is a trustworthy person. Oh, well, let's not take this as an example. Judy patted, and when he saw Yi Fei beside Jack, he couldn't help but froze for a moment. Haven't your friend even installed a prosthesis? Judy looked up and down at Yi Fei curiously. To be honest, she hadn't seen a person who had never installed a prosthetic body so handsome for a long time. Let me introduce you. He is Yi Fei. We recently partnered to form a mercenary team. He is my captain. Yi Fei, the person in front of you is Judy, the best Super Dream director in Night City. Jack introduced to Judy and Yi Fei. Yi Fei, currently partnering with Jack as a mercenary. Well, Judy Alvarez, you can call me Judy, but can you be a mercenary if you haven't modified a prosthetic body? Judy asked. Judy, you've got a good shot this time. Let me tell you, you'll hear Yi Fei's name in other people's mouths tomorrow. He made me a big deal today. Judy raised his eyebrows when he heard Jack's words, and then jokingly said, Oh. The big one. Where did you go to smuggle it or to steal the car of that unlucky rich man? Aren't you underestimating people? We went to take over the home of the Whirlpool gang today. Jack said proudly. Oh, what's the matter? The Whirlpool gang is not a small gang, and you can actually take over their lair. Judy has no doubts about Jack's words. After all, such words cannot be taken back, and there is no such thing as bragging. And as far as Judy knew Jack didn't have the guts to lie like that. But Jack, you came to me just to say this. If that's the case, I think you can leave first, I still have a few Mewtwo to edit. Judy obviously ordered the eviction. We are here just for your Cheomong. Yifei lived outside the border before, and has never encountered any particularly good Cheomong, so I brought him here to experience it. Okay, then what kind of Mewtwo do you want? Naturally, Judy would not refuse when a business came to her door. After all, who would have trouble with money? I heard that there is a game on your side that allows VR and Mewtwo to play together, so I want that kind of game. Jack said. Yifei is actually no stranger to Mewtwo. However, Cheomong is also a very important prop throughout the entire Cyberpunk 2077 plot. It is also the largest entertainment method in Night City. It can be said that even a beggar on the roadside who lives in Night City will have a Super Dream device. However, this is the first time Yifei has heard of the VR technology that Jack talked about linking Mewtwo to play games. After all, Cheomong in the game is generally a tool for people to recall and find clues. Maybe it is because the role of Cheomong's diversity is not shown in the game. Yifei, what kind of Mewtwo games do you like? I have all Mewtwo games on the market here. If you don't know what to play, I can recommend a few Mewtwo games for you. Judy looked at Yifei and asked. Half of the Cheomong games on the market are all kinds of shooting, or some Cheomong games produced by some small black factories of knife fighting games, but the quality of those games is too poor, so Judy has never bought their products. Judy, don't underestimate Yifei. He can kill everyone without any damage under the guns of more than a dozen people from the Maelstrom gang. Jack said this, but he was flipping through Judy's new Mewtwo to see if there was any type he liked. Well, I have a good semi-finished Mewtwo game here. The background is almost an organization. They have invited excellent mercenaries from various planets to fight on a planet. There is also a setting when fighting in the area. It is called a safe zone. If you stay outside the safe zone, you will be burned. 60 mercenaries will be released at once. Bye. Judy took out a chip and said, "This is a Cheomong game sent by a person from a game company, saying that they want Judy to perfect this Cheomong game for them, and they will give her dividends afterwards." Although Judy likes the story background of this game, she will not help a little-known small company improve the Mewtwo game without seeing the benefits. She has more jobs than she can count. Time to help this small company make Mewtwo games. But let me say it first, because it is a semi-finished product and there is no server, so the characters in it are robots except you. The robots inside are also divided into difficulties, ranging from beginners to terminators. I have played hunting difficulty, and you will fall down as soon as you meet each other. How about it? Is this exciting enough? Judy has played this game before, and the Terminator robot in it is really scary, so he also wants to see how capable Yifei is, which Jack said is good. Yifei was familiar with the gameplay of this game, and Yifei's DNA was activated when Judy mentioned the Defender. Isn't this his favorite FPS game Apex in his previous life? I didn't expect to see the shadow of this game in this cyberpunk world. Let me try it. As Yifei said that, she couldn't wait to lie down on the chair and get ready. Although he was not a hunter in his previous life, he was able to become a master at any rate. In this world, he has a superhuman body, and his nervous response and micro-manipulation are many times stronger than his previous life. What kind of machine difficult Terminator? When he enters, he will incarnate as Brother Suozi and let the robot taste what is social evil. Seeing Yifei's confident look, Zudi also inserted the game chip in his hand into the server in his studio. After all, the game can't even support the robot's operation without a server. After finishing all the preparations, Judy handed the Cheomong device to Yifei. Let me tell you first, there are sensory settings here. The first thing you do when you go in, I advise you to turn off these things first. After all, they are only half developed, and there may be bugs in the sensory settings. I see, let's get started. Seeing that Yifei said no problem, Judy pressed the button to start the game. A white light flashed and Yifei was already in a training ground. This is the training ground, a novice tutorial that everyone has to go through, and you can only start playing the game after following it. Yifei appeared in a shooting range and looked around, and then heard Judy's voice and Yifei followed suit. Then Yifei followed the tutorial and passed. Of course, he also tried all the firearms provided in the shooting range. With his muscle memory and brain development, he can achieve perfect gun control with just one shot. Of course, maybe it's because it's not fully developed, so the characters here are all whiteboards, that is, they don't have any special skills, and they are exactly the same except for their appearance. After choosing the Terminator difficulty, Yifei entered the official game. Let's fight to our heart's content below. Mercenaries. There was a sound in the flight cabin, and then the cabin door was opened, and a strong airflow filled the flight cabin at once, and Yifei could also feel this airflow. Yifei was also unambiguous, and jumped down immediately. Judy, who was watching outside, couldn't help being surprised when she saw Yifei jumping out of the flight cabin without even thinking about it. After all, when playing this game for the first time, most people's first reaction should be to observe the map. But Yifei had a clear goal. He looked at the densely packed garbage town below and adjusted his flying angle so that he could land at a faster speed. After Yifei landed, he first picked up a shotgun and then, without hesitation, turned the muzzle to the direction where there were footsteps behind him. Boom! A gunshot directly sprayed a robot that fell around him into a box. All go, full spray. Seeing this scene, Judy swears immediately, because there is no armor when he lands, so as long as he picks up a handful of spray guns and hits it twice, he can take one away, but Yifei's spray has at least 80% of the bullets. Hit the robot on the head. So the robot was sprayed out all at once. Without too much hesitation, Yifei opened the warehouse of the remaining 2 capsules, and got a rifle shaped like a rattlesnake. In Yifei's words, the name of this rifle should be R301. And Yifei didn't search too much for supplies, after picking up a blue armor, some gun accessories and medical supplies. Yifei started his slaughter. While watching the picture sent back by Cheomung outside, Judy and Jack were already stunned. A rifle and a shotgun, taking into account both medium and close range, Yifei basically sees a robot and takes it away with a shuttle, and then switches the shotgun to kill the robot that approaches him. In Judy's eyes, these robots, which are like plugins, are like toys in Yifei's hands. And the robot's counterattack can often only destroy 2 grids of Yifei's armor. After coming out of a small town, Yifei also changed his guns from shotguns. Not only did he change the armor on his body from the blue armor to the best gold armor now, but he also installed the best accessories on the 2 firearms he was carrying. Yifei only carried 180 rounds of ammunition for his rifle, and only 16 rounds for the single sprayer, and the rest were either medical supplies or grenades. Coming out of the garbage town, Yifei has killed 10 robots, and the damage has reached 2,600. Yifei sat on a skydiving tower not far from the garbage town and flew towards the center of the map. It is the most densely populated place of robots, and can be said to be the most dangerous place on the entire battlefield. The first moment Yifei landed was to persuade the robots in this housing area to stop fighting. Of course, the heads were all Yifei's subordinates. After cleaning up 3 robots in a small room, Yifei rushed to the next battlefield without stopping. In the end, under the numb eyes of Judy and Jack, Yifei ended the last robot with 1 punch. Yifei only played this game for less than 16 minutes, and the vicious circle has just reached the 3rd place. Then a white light flashed, and Yifei quit the game. Phew, what a joy. The first thing Yifei did when he woke up was to say he was refreshed. After all, this was the most enjoyable time he had come to this world to play. Then he saw Judy's eyes as if looking at a monster again. This made Yifei, who had always prided himself on being thick-skinned, a little embarrassed. What's the matter? Judy, do you have something to say? You really look like a monster. Judy couldn't help but put away her straight gaze and sighed. After talking about this, Zudi remembered a certain operation of Yifei in the game, which was quite dangerous, when Yifei was destroying a robot in front of him in the garbage town. Because the armor was consumed, but with the sound of hurried footsteps behind him, Yifei rushed directly to the wall. Just when Judy thought Yifei was going to give up, he made an operation that Judy couldn't even dream of. I saw that Yifei first used the wall climbing mechanism to let himself stay on the wall for just half a second. When the robot saw him, he stepped on the wall and arrived at the back of the robot, and then a shuttle locked in the robot's body. Take it on your head. This kind of combat awareness and combat experience amazed Zudi. If Yifei hadn't stood in front of her, he would not have believed that Yifei hadn't installed a combat prosthetic body. Yifei, you are so awesome, I'll go, I want to play this game once after seeing it. Jack said with some excitement. Really, I think it's not bad, Yi Fei said. Thank you, I will pass on the cost of Judy's Mewtwo experience to you now. You know, I'm more interested in you than this. Can you leave a contact information of yours? Judy's words made Yi Fei a little confused. After all, he is a veteran Cyberpunk 2077 player, so he naturally knows that Judy is a lesbian. Even in the game, he used a male V to pass the level, and then kept choosing the option that made Judy feel comfortable. It's just a friend, except for the matter of modifying the program, it is impossible to use a male character to attack Judy. So this time he had no other ideas other than meeting Judy. Ahem, don't think too much, it's just that I think you have the talent to be the anchor of Cheomung game, so I want to tell you these details. Looking at Yi Fei's appearance, Zhu Di knew that he must be thinking wrong, so he just coughed twice and explained. Judy, I've come to you to spend so many times, why haven't I seen you come to ask for my contact information? Jack said, you should come here less in the future. Jack, I just saw you flipping through my new Dream movie, and said that you haven't used the last Dream movie. Judy looked at Jack angrily and said. Jack knew that he came here for more exciting Super Dream movies, so it was normal for Judy not to contact him. I don't know why Judy feels a little disgusted with the men in Night City, so over time Judy began to hate dealing with men and turn to girls, but from Yi Fei she felt something from Night City, traits that cannot be felt. A little confused but can't tell what's different. Okay, I'll pass on my phone number to you now. The operation panel in front of Yi Fei's eyes flashed, and Yi Fei's head appeared in Judy's eyes, and then he received his request. By the way, Judy, can you give me a copy of your game Cheomung? I think I can perfect it for them. Yi Fei asked while playing with the chip that he had taken from the Cheomung device. Of course, can you still program things in this area? Judy didn't refuse either. After all, Yi Fei was the first man she didn't feel disgusted with, and by the looks of him, he should also like this game. Judy, Yi Fei, the person I told you about defeating the Maelstrom gang, didn't rely on fists. He is also a rare hacker. At this time Jack jumped out and said. A dozen little brothers from the Whirlpool gang were all blacked out by Yi Fei at once. Hearing Jack speak as if he was there, Yi Fei was a little speechless. I will be so billion points. In the end Yi Fei said modestly. Okay then, I'll make a copy for you now. After a while, Judy copied the semi-finished game Cheomung in his hand onto a chip. Although you should know, but I still want to repeat to you, this game Cheomung has not been released on the market, so I don't want him to appear on the market, do you know what I mean? Judy said while handing the chip to Yi Fei. Don't worry, I know all of this. Hearing Yi Fei's words, Judy let go of the chip. Well, you guys should leave first, I still have some work to do, so I won't send it off. After Judy finished speaking, she started her Mewtwo editing work again. Outside the Ritz bar, I'm stupid, Yi Fei, you are so awesome. What's awesome? What's so awesome about just playing a game? Hearing Yi Fei's words, Jack shook his head. I'm not talking about the game, it's Judy. Judy, what's wrong? I'll go, forget it, it's normal if you don't know. Let me tell you the truth, Judy doesn't seem to be interested in men, so you are the first man who asked Judy to take the initiative to call. Yi Fei gave Jack a blank look. What do you want to say? Jack smiled and looked like I understood. I mean, maybe you can have something to do with Judy. I'm bored, I'm going home first. Seeing that Jack was not serious, Yi Fei waved his hand and went to the light rail station not far from the Ritz bar to go home. On the light rail, Yi Fei was thinking. Originally, he thought that the technology of this world was far superior to that of his previous life. As a result, in terms of games, even FPS games with the gameplay of Apex did not appear. The chip in his hand is only a semi-finished product. After Yi Fei finished playing the game just now, he also thought about it. It will still be relatively lacking. Of course, this is not to say that Yi Fei will give up being a legend, but Yi Fei feels that being a legend alone is not enough for him. After all, so what if it looks like V at the end of the City King in the game? It's just a mercenary. If you want a real foothold, you still need a company with stable income and a certain position of power. Even if he has superhuman abilities, it's still inferior to relying on force to suppress people. He is not a tyrant who kills anyone who dislikes him. Of course, Yi Fei is not a saint. Facing opponents, Yi Fei has always followed through. It is crushed directly. After thinking about it carefully, Yifei decided to spend a little time perfecting the game in his hand, and then use this as a bargaining chip to invest in that game company, or even buy it directly if possible. After all, the money in his hands and the remuneration in V's hands are completely enough to buy some small companies. V will definitely support him with all his strength, but before that, all Yifei can do is to build up his reputation as much as possible, and only by saving enough money can he have the confidence to buy that company. Oh, I still need money. Valley Area Apartments. Inside Yifei's house. Yifei, are you back? Where did you fool around with Jack? When V saw Yifei, he leaned over immediately and smelled Yifei's body. There was no flavor other than some booze. What are you thinking, V? I just went to drink a little wine with Jack. Next time I can take you and Lucy to drink too. Yifei explained with some helplessness that he wanted to pick up girls. When he was drinking with Jack in the bar, there were some women who were interested in him, but he couldn't do it when he saw the obvious signs of transformation on the other party. Compared with those people, he prefers the two at home that don't seem to have been remodeled much. Maybe it's because Lucy just came to Night City and hasn't had time to install the spine prosthesis that is more obvious in anime, but now that Lucy knows Victor, a powerful prosthetic doctor, she will choose it in the future hidden prosthesis installation surgery. What about you? What did the two beauties go shopping for today? As soon as Yifei finished speaking, V took 2 big bags of clothes and put them in front of Yifei. Then Yifei saw V took out a pile of laundry in his restless eyes. It's not all for me to wear. The corners of Yifei's mouth twitched involuntarily, watching V take out a dazzling array of clothes, some in solid colors, some mixed colors, and more clothes with exaggerated patterns. You want me to try one by one, you won't refuse the one I picked with Lucy, will you? After V finished speaking, Yifei looked at Lucy in surprise. As soon as Lucy blushed, she turned around and said, "Don't think too much, I just want to thank you, that's all, there is no other meaning." Then Yifei became a natural model under V's fiddling. Well, this one is not bad, it suits your temperament very well. Half an hour later. V, I think this one is pretty good. That's right, I think this one looks good too. Yifei, you can wear this one when you go out in the future. Halfway through V trying on clothes for Yifei, Lucy couldn't help but join in the action of using Yifei as a dress-up doll. After all, she is still a girl under 20 years old, and Lucy will not hesitate to show her lively side when she meets someone who can really show herself. All right, I'll listen to you. Yifei also said helplessly, although the clothes on his body did match him well, but he was really not used to these things. But Yifei didn't have so many opinions after seeing the two happy people in the family happy. Let's not talk about it, I've already ordered some dishes online, and I'll cook some delicious food for you when it's delivered. Yifei is in a very good mood, he can already feel that the relationship between Lucy, V and him is getting closer. Wagwo, Kangtao Company Headquarters. So, is this the dossier you found in the NCPD headquarters? Shu Shiming looked at the dossier in his hand with a serious face. This was the video material secretly sent back to them by their undercover NCPD middle and high-level people. Several principals from several continents were basically at the meeting, all because of Yifei. I have already organized all the data analysis and video recordings of this file and sent them to you. Ling Xiaohan, the person in charge of Kangtao in the Americas, said with a serious face. Chairman Shu, I think this matter may be fraudulent. It is impossible for someone to be able to double the speed of the 5-stage Cianwiston overspeed device newly developed by our company. This is simply nonsense. Lu Ning, the head of Europe, said. Chairman Shu, I also agree with his idea. Maybe it's Araba Group or military technology who have created some hidden type of speeding device. The person in charge of Australia said half of them didn't believe it. Although their Kangtao started more than 20 years later than military technology and waste boards, with the full support of the country and the efforts of many scientific and technological personnel, they have achieved harmony. The status of military technology in Araban company is equal. If it is said that any company in military science and technology or Wangban has unilaterally developed prosthetic equipment that is even more terrifying than the Fifth Order Cianwiston at this stage, the Fifth Company War has already begun. Moreover, Their spies in military technology and waste boards are not vegetarians, and quite a few of them have reached middle and high-level positions. Even if Kong Dao could infiltrate some people and become spies because of his special board and military technology, those people must be low-level figures and there is nothing to be afraid of. If you want me to say, let our people find this person. Who are you asking to catch this guy who can outrun our latest speeding device? ... For a moment, there was a scene in Kong Dao's high-level conference room that he hadn't seen for a long time. To describe it in popular words, vegetable market winking face. Of course, it is not unreasonable for the conference room to be so chaotic. The data analysis and video analysis sent back by Ling Xiaohan are really outrageous. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.